Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all ages. Here I am, your host for the brand new podcast called The Dad's Perspective. My name is Jay Chattel. Thank you for joining us. So here we are on our first show. This is going to be a journey. This is something new that we want to contribute by giving back to dads that really care about, making a difference. Some of the things that we want to do each week is, have the commentary and conversations. We're going to set goals and, have tips on financing, how we should be with our spousal relationships, how that affects the children, married, divorced, or, just dating. We're gonna go into some healthy and unhealthy disciplines, and if the stepdads out there, the do's and don'ts of being a stepfather and having stepchildren, social learning and eating, health, exercise, and so much more. We're just gonna dig in week after week, show after show. We're gonna dig in and try to be the best dads that we can possibly be. And I know for me, that's all it's about, man. I just want to be the best dad I can be. And I'm hoping that with this show we can capture that. Some of the things that I want to really get down is what it means. Like some of the questions we want to ask, ourselves is what does it mean to become, a really great father? How can we push the envelope on ways to be a better dad? And who are the people that we look up to as being dads? Like who are the role models? Who are the designated people that we look to be, to excel our fatherhoods, and how do we capture that? So there's a lot of things that we're gonna push the envelope on and help lift each other up. This show is going to be geared towards those that been through the trenches, right? We're gearing this show towards the guys that been through the trenches. When I mean the trenches, I mean the guys that been in jail, the fathers that walked out on the relationships for whatever the reason may be. There's millions of reasons you can have to walk out on relationships. The ones that chose work over the children because they thought they were doing the right thing by supporting the children financially, outside of emotionally, and physically being there. Just thinking financially was enough. So, the trenches, that's the trenches. When I say the trenches, that's what I'm talking about. Dads that, didn't make the best decisions. They seen that in themselves. They didn't make the best decisions. But, they never gave up. They came back time and time again. They fell. They learned to pick themselves back up. They brushed themselves off. And they tried it. They tried it again. And that's what's going to bring me into my first guest. Wait a minute. I got a producer over here, right? I got a producer. That's not a dad.
That I know of.
Oh, wow. So it's going to be interesting to get outside views, from non-dads, good men, good quality men that work real hard, that do the right thing, that wake up every day and put one pants leg on at a time and go out there and earn honest money and work real hard. And Steve's that guy, man. Steve, say hi to the people.
Oh, I gotta get my camera on. Oh, Lord. Hey, everybody.
So that's Steve, man. That's Steve Brady. I hijacked him. I held him hostage from another show called the Brady Report.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are doing good work over there at the Brady Report.
4 years in running. Yeah, we did a good job.
Years.
Yep, 4 years. It's not bad.
So we're gonna, get a little bit of that good quality work over there.
I can provide some role model stuff because I've been a real good role model for a lot of kids. That not my kids. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
So.
How about your dad? You got a good dad in your life?
Yes, I had a great dad.
You had a great dad. He passed away.
No, I still have a great dad. I have a great dad. He lives in Florida, and I have a stepfather too.
You have a stepfather? Oh, wow. That's going to be good. That's
going to be good. A lot of stories.
Let me ask you. Not that you have a favorite, you can't compare one to the other.
No, I can't compare. It's two different people, two different, storylines for each of them and experiences. So, It's a lot.
Do you run to one more than the other, or do you like have one for you rely on one for
Yes.
one type of emotional
Yeah,
part, another
there's
for another?
I have limitations on certain people,
Yeah.
and I learned the hard way. You will learn the hard way. But yeah, I go to one to more than the other. All depends on what the situation is, definitely.
So that as we're speaking here, it seems like your role in the show, outside of being the producer, right, the engineer back there, as the son, you have a son perspective that you get to add to the show.
A little bit,
keep
yes.
You'll be able to keep us honest. As a son, you have a dad, you have a stepfather and a father, which adds good quality.
And I'm nieces and nephews of, I'm an uncle to a lot of nieces and nephews that are not my blood,
Right.
but I've seen a lot of people, a lot of different family situations when I grew up, and today as my friends and my close friends that have kids, and all that stuff, and I've seen it all. So I have life experience. Just because I don't have children don't mean I don't have life experience about children.
Oh, I like that, Steve. I like that. So let's roll that. Let's get into this little commercial, and we're gonna come right back with our guests. We got Mark Gonsalves, right? Is that correct? Make sure I say
Mark
that.
Gonsalves Senior.
Senior. Let me throw that in here. You can hear in the
We got
background.
commercials. I didn't know that.
Well, you know what I mean. The intro thing.
I did the intro thing already.
No, the one with his name on it.
I did that already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Here we are. I'm the producer. Remember, I know what to do. That's why you hired me. How much do I get paid, by the way? We never got that negotiation going on.
Hey, I drafted you. You're like a free agent. Your free agency. I drafted you.
I gotta sign a contract yet. I might be a holdout.
So,
Yeah, I say senior just because I lived a long time, a bad life, and I don't want my son that is junior to be, sometimes,
Yeah. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mark Gonsalves. This man has a story. We're gonna dig into his story. We're gonna start. I like to start off. Let's start off with the bad. Let's work with the bad. And then we'll go to the good, right? The good qualities that you're possessing now, the good things that you get into, the motivation, stuff of that nature. But let's start off,
the raw.
the raw, right? The trenches. Let's start off in the trenches. The live experiences. Why don't you? Where was you raised? Where was you born?
So I was born in Newport, Rhode Island.
Okay.
I don't know my father.
Wait, Newport, Rhode Island. That's like what? Rich in the mansion? You were born in a mansion?
Well, see, everybody thinks that. Everybody, it made it rough when you went out of town in a tough neighborhood because they're like, oh, yeah. And then there's a few of us that proved ourselves, and
So I know they have. I know I have some projects out there.
Oh yeah.
My sister lived out there for a little while. Her son's father. His son's father was from there. My nephew Tyler, his dad is from Newport originally, I believe. I think that's where she met him. I knew some guys from Newport that I was in training school with. There was a big group of Newport kids. I didn't know.
I was one of the first ones.
From training school up there from Newport. Yeah, what was the project's name over there?
Back then it was Tammany Hill,
and
we were Hillside Posse.
Hillside Posse.
So
now let me ask you, Hillside Posse, right?
Yeah, I know.
Here we go.
So what year is that?
So, all right.
Hillside Posse. What year was that?
We started that around maybe 87.
87.
That's when we started
hip hop
saying that. That's when that term started becoming an identity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because Hillside is just the street that goes through it.
Yeah.
But then, NWA came out and people started claiming sets and, so that's when we got an identity and we was doing a lot of bad things together.
So now let me ask you, was you the type of person that was leading, following, easygoing, hard nosed? Who was Mark?
I was looked up to by a lot. I was, I didn't want to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I just wanted everyone to get theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, because of things I did, and I was a smart dude. People did get stuff off of me. And and it just, I had to prove myself, so I did some pretty serious things.
Now,
in life.
was that like with a chip on your shoulder? Was you trying to prove stuff to yourself and your friends, or let me ask you this, Mark. You have a dad that's in your life?
No, that's what I'm saying. So,
no dad.
And that's where that comes from.
Do you know your dad? Do you know his name or anything?
No.
Wow. Let's stop there for a second. I can't imagine I have a dad, right? I'm just now getting a relationship with him, but to say I don't even know his name, Steve, you hear what he's saying here?
Yeah.
Picture not knowing your dad's name, right?
So when you was talking to Steve earlier, and he said he doesn't have any kids, and so I started writing because him being a stepdad, because I know
he has a stepdad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has a stepdad.
But also, I'm sure he said he has nephews and stuff.
Yeah, nieces and
I'm
nephews.
sure somebody looks up to him as a role model.
Right.
So a role model is a stepdad in a sense. You're just not under the same roof domestically, but when kids look up to us, it's dad too.
Dad. Yeah.
Because they want to do things that when they get older, they want to follow those things.
Yeah.
So
I had an uncle that was like I call it like he was a dad figure in my life. So I could see that. He was definitely a dad. He was a guy, a go-to guy for me.
Yeah. So I got one sibling. At that time, there's a story behind that, but my older brother and his father was in his life.
Okay. So you had a stepdad.
No, but see, that's the thing. My mother and him were separated.
Okay.
But he would come and pick up my brother. But there was an age where, I was too young to hang with my brother.
Okay,
I couldn't keep up.
Right.
But
More of a male model.
But I didn't understand it, because my brother's father would pick him up, and my cousin, which is closer to my brother's age, and he had a clean ass Lincoln. He was known for his cars, Billy G. And I'd watch that car drive off, knowing they were going to do something like Rocky Point or whether to get ice cream. And I had no father to pick me up like that.
Let me ask you this: Did that make you envious?
No, I didn't understand.
Did that build it? Do you think that had any influence on you?
Yeah. It's that's why I'm kind of like bullet pointing that. That's why I'm kind of because that's for some people. That's when trauma starts. You know what I'm saying? And because of what I do now as a peer recovery specialist, I understand that kind of stuff.
Don't give him the juicy stuff.
Okay, all right, yeah, my bad.
Don't give away the treats.
So I had a stepfather, right? And my mother, I'm biracial. So, and we're talking, I was born in, 71. Yeah. So, I mean, man, we were just getting through the hoses.
What's your nationality, Mom?
My mother is Irish, French, and English.
Yeah.
And my father is Cape Verdean.
Creole?
Yeah.
Little island?
No. Yeah. So, that's a tough thing. That was a tough thing for my mother to try to, fix for me because, I mean.
Well, you have a Cape Verdean last name.
That's my brother. See, my mother married my older brother's father, but never divorced, but separated.
So she liked Cape Verdean men.
I kept, that's my brother's, So I have a whole family of cousins and everything that, man, I don't care what anybody says, and they don't either. That's my blood. Those are my cousins.
The Cape Verdean culture, we're all related anyway.
I mean, but it helped me because they knew I didn't, I didn't have that half of the family. You know what I'm saying? And
so they adopted you and took you as their own, and they don't look you.
I was never like, step cousin or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was not to them. And I, man, like you said, the Cape Verdean, Antos, Alvid,
that's something good in the DNA of Cape Verdean people. It's not.
Man.
That's not an option.
Cultural, you see it a lot. They
Family's
stick together.
Oh
my God!
If your Cape Verdean family is a major part of your DNA.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the 1987. You're starting to create an identity. You're hanging out with some guys, part of the Hillside Posse. Let me ask you, what were the first bad decisions you were making at that time? What type of bad decisions? I'm pretty sure that the statute of limitations are up on it. You're an old man now.
So that time, right? 14, 15, 16, right? I was honestly, and I like G.I. Joes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also had my first pistol.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I would go home by myself, they were my collectors, but I'd set them up, and I would never play with them pow pow.
How'd you get your first gun?
I broke my mother's stereo, and I ended up getting it as a hand-me-down. And when we was moving back from Florida, because I went to Florida.
Okay.
And when we were moving back in '87, my best friend out there had a pistol and he shot it, and his father didn't mess around, so he was scared. So I said, "Hey, I'll leave you that stereo if I can take that pistol."
So you traded. You traded it.
Yep.
You traded.
Yep. And I came here and I felt like a whole different person. I was holding a pistol. I didn't even have bullets, bro.
Yeah.
And it
gives you that power.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, it gives you power to have something
who's
big
that?
like that.
Nas has that song, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's like you feel. Oh man, it's like putting on a cape.
Right.
At least in your mentality, it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I came back here, and then back then Kmart, Walmart, you can buy guns. It's a sport thing. We got bullets, and then I started. They had teen clubs, Car Palace, if anyone remembers back then. In Somerset, and now I'm driving a car, and then boom.
Wait, you're driving a car legally or illegally?
Yeah, no, legally. I was 16.
16 years old. You got your license.
I got my license in Florida.
How did you? Who influenced you to do that? I think that's something that a dad would do. Like I know me, I pride myself. I pride myself on teaching the kids how to drive. I taught many kids how to drive. Your mom hooked you up.
That's one of my notes, because we're talking about dads, and for some people, their mother is their dad. And I want to give a shout out to single moms that play both roles.
Both roles.
I have female friends that on Father's Day, I wish them a happy Father's Day, because my mother, I didn't have a father, and I put in some work, right? And that's being raised by a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Me, my grandmother was my mother. My mother was my father. My
My
mother didn't play the mother role, not even a little bit. She wasn't good at it.
Yeah.
She wasn't she wasn't the type of lady that would be soft on you.
Yeah.
That's, she wasn't just soft. There's nothing soft about my mother.
Well, my mom was too.
My grandmother was the more understanding about things. My mother wasn't understanding. So I definitely can relate to that.
Like people in our era, we talk about them wooden spoons on the wall, right?
Oh, yeah.
The kids, they probably think that's like a myth or something. Like, man.
I got a cast iron frying pan before.
Listen.
Belts, wooden spoons.
Oh my God.
Whatever they can grab first.
Parents making you go get it to come back to hand it to them so they can whip you with it.
You know. So all right. So now you got a license. You got your people.
I got hand-me-down cars from my brothers. That's
hand-me-down. That's privilege right there.
Yeah. It was. Like I actually got my first one. Yeah, I actually had my first one when I was 15 in Florida. Mm-hmm. My brother, he would come back. He would live in Florida sometimes, live in Rhode Island, and he had a car and he left it. So I started taking it, and then it became mine.
Did you leave it for your mom or did you leave it for you?
He just left it because he owned it, you know. And I don't know, but I know I took the keys and started driving it. You know what I'm saying? My first time, I went to a teen club. My mom had went out, and I snuck out. And I guess she came home earlier than me. Because when I came home, she was in the driveway waiting. And I was so scared, I passed the house. I went in a circle. I was like, oh... that was my
catching it tonight.
Oh my God. And I had kind of sideswiped the car because I didn't know how to drive right, and it was a crowded parking lot.
Ouch.
Did you have anybody with you?
Yeah, I had some friends,
did you put the face on like you wasn't nervous, or did you let your cards be seen by your people?
Well, no. By then I had dropped them off.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Because that really plays a different role. You know, if
Oh
people are there,
ooh.
you gotta
Oh,
put
yeah.
you gotta put the chest out and like.
I meant to hit that car.
Not with my mom, because she'll pull that card on you. You know what I'm saying? She'll pull your card, be like, "Hey, you can act like that if you want to."
My mother cracked me in front of my friends and act like it don't hurt,
Listen,
and then she'd mess me up.
I don't know about you. Did you get to the point where when she would beat you, right, it didn't hurt anymore, but you played it, right?
Well,
but mother,
that was the point you can get your mom to quit.
Yeah,
And then
well,
you can go back in the room and
see,
laugh.
my mom recognized that it wasn't hurting like that,
Yeah.
so she would pin us down and
Go
Charlie, knee us, so, you know what I'm saying, hit us, like dead leg us, you know what I'm saying, like.
Well, that's why I told you it's frying pans.
Yeah,
Once
she stepped up again.
I imagine, once she realized,
My mom didn't play.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
when I knew I was getting a whooping, I put some extra jeans on, but she caught that act and she did me bare ass once.
I got a fork thrown at me at the dinner table just because I was chewing with my mouth open. My mom was
a different era back then.
Yeah, man.
So all right. So what what was the first? All right, what was the first thing that got you in trouble? Like real trouble, like got you taken away from your family. You're incarcerated. What was the first?
When
thing?
that switch over of me making the bad decisions, right? I had that pistol, no bullets, and I got some, and I started messing with a female, and her ex jacked me up, and he was a bigger dude. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to go get the pistol, but my cousin had it, and they wouldn't give it to me.
Well, they knew you were going to make a bad decision.
I would have. I had an impulsive temper,
right.
Because it ended up happening where, I ended up, we had some, beef because Navy and, it was just hillside posse, immature, gang things or whatever. And I went to training school for shooting someone, you know what I mean? And that was a bad decision because I
was that
that man's life.
That person that you shot, was that the ex-girlfriend's boyfriend? Or
no, that's a whole different story.
Was it just a different
incident?
was
a Navy guy.
Yeah, it was an incident that, was it an aggressive incident? Was it a gang incident?
No, someone from Hillside Posse at the time, was out, and some Navy guys messed with him, and he called us, and we came. We came like soldiers are supposed to come. You know what I'm saying? Without a question, bro.
Yeah.
And we were teenagers. We walked up in nightclubs, and adult clubs, and we were
treated good.
Yeah. Well, we got in because. The crack era was also out, and there was a couple bar owners that turned to crack, and so we got into that life, and that we got in a fight with them guys, and it ended up going somewhere else, and we went looking for them. We didn't have enough, we didn't get it right, so we found them, and we set it up and started messing dudes up. Like, do you guys swear on this podcast?
I'm they say swearing is a lack of a better word. So I mean, it's up to you.
But that is what you were saying.
The audience, who knows what our audience is right now, right? This is the first show, so it's up to you. I want you to be comfortable.
Well, sometimes swearing is, in your terms, the organic. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you need to, since they're not here with us, to get them to understand. So I just wanted to know, because that was my first big mistake, because I shot someone. I shot someone and for someone else, not even for my own, and then he ended up snitching on me.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So the person that you did it for told on you.
That's the person that called us, and all of us went like soldiers.
Yeah.
And this dude
went and told on
because the police knew it was his beef, so they questioned him, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know where Mark got the gun. Like, we weren't trying to be that serious," and then set me up for them to get an easy arrest. So he called us again. We didn't know they had questioned him and said he needed bail, right? We knew, he told us they did, but he said, "Oh, it's no sweat." Said he needed bail. Said he was at the courthouse. So when you go in the courthouse, what do you first?
I need bail. You don't even know this, but you don't get bail as a juvenile.
No, he was an adult.
Oh, he was an adult.
That was the influence of why I did it. I was like trying to earn stripes, like.
So he was like The older the OG.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The older guy.
Yeah, man. And, you know, so to get it, when you go to a courthouse, what's the first thing you go through?
The metal detectors.
So he called us, said he was at the courthouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we went down there to bail him out. Like, here I am with crack in my pocket. I hide it outside the courthouse in a thing of chapstick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, who does that? Like,
Right.
why didn't I leave it at home? But anyways, and I went inside and see, after everything, I come to realize that was a setup because the cops weren't used to people from, just like you guys said, Newport, Rich. They didn't know how to handle people shooting people.
Yeah, because this was a brand new era.
So it was a threat to them.
You guys are ushering a different era.
Yeah, so it was the police. For the police, it was a threat to them in Newport because they weren't used to that. They were used to bar fights and stuff, right? So they didn't. And then I had just came back from Florida, so you know they didn't know too much about me, and so they wanted an easy arrest. So I had to walk in there. I couldn't bring the gun, so they came up on me, you know, and said, you know, you're on arrest. They said, Mark Gonsalves. I said, nah. I said, my name is Terrell Cox. You know, that was that was one of my stepfather's names. That's the first thing that came to my head. And they were, yeah. And I tried to play it, and they brought me to the police station. I called my mother. My brother and mother came down there, and you know, like I didn't know he snitched. I still didn't know he set me up. You know, I'm being that solid dude. I'm being that solid dude, right? Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. We didn't, you know, right? And they said, all right, we're gonna show you what your boys, how much they are boys to you. And they came with one of them tape recorders, you know, with the little handle, put it on the table in front of me, press play, and the dude was snitching on me.
Wow.
So I just
the heart must have sunk, huh?
Dude,
devastated.
It was like if you had a father and the father said, I don't want you to be my son no more. Something, I don't know. It was an experience that oh my God. Because here we are, that's a whole new era, like you know, of street violence and people, you know, like, and when you don't have a father, that is your father. You know, the streets become
your father.
Your parents. You know what I'm saying?
The music,
man.
You're watching,
watching
friends,
other people, older people. You know, so it hurt, man. So I was like, real quick. My mind, I'm pretty good with like being spontaneous with what to say, and my mind said, yeah, I did it. I said, he gave me the gun. He told me that I wouldn't get in trouble because I was a juvenile. I said, but all them other people he said that was there, they didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
trying to get him out of.
I was like, fuck it. I
knew the rap and just get.
I knew I was jammed up, so I was like, he's coming with me.
You're
but I was just trying to bring him with me because he snitched on me.
Though. Your people.
Yeah.
Well, your people gonna respect
that's protected
that.
because that's me naturally.
Because when you come home now, you're the man. You know.
Yeah.
In hindsight, you become home now. You're the man because you took the rap for other people that didn't have to go.
That was fluent for me. Yeah. Because that's how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know, and that's, you know, how they got the saying, real recognizes real.
Right.
You know, and so I went to the training school.
How much time did they give you?
This was 3 months before my 18th birthday, right? I was 17, right?
Did they charge you as an adult?
Nope, because they didn't have that law.
Yeah, Craig
Yes.
Introduced that law.
While I was still awaiting trial, Craig Price got arrested, and that's when the law changed. So that was my first felony, because back then you had to have 2 felonies to be charged as an adult. Mm-hmm. So I skated, because I was 3 months before my 18th birthday, bro. Yeah. And I shot someone and admitted it, and they got the gun, and like it was, you know, it was
slap on the wrist, basically.
I got a year. Yeah. You know? But then I got out, and 3 months later, I went back for drugs. And now I got my first adult.
So now you graduated from the RITS program into the ACI program.
And I'll tell you what, a judge said that to me, and my mom got contempt of court because he said, you're not a kid anymore. You're in my court now. Mm-hmm. And he's, you know, whatever. I can't remember exactly. And my mom was so pissed. She started yelling, swearing.
At the judge?
Yeah. And, you know, that my mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, my boys, I had boys that would shoot someone for me, whatever, right? But there was always a point where the only one left standing by me was my mother, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
That's
God rest her
unconditional.
soul, Sarah Gonsalves, man. You know, she was a solid woman. And she was a little short white woman where, like, people of color from the projects would go get her
Right.
for beef. You know, not because she was the baddest, but they knew they
She
could
could
have,
hold her own.
they could
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
their back and she would watch it. You know, and that's how she raised me. And she cussed out the judge, and the judge made her sit. They told the sheriffs to put her over there and sit in
Sit in
the
the court
where the criminals, you know,
Right.
where people arrested get, you know. And yeah, man, I drugs I started selling, and
So it just became a way of life for you at this point.
Yep.
No direction, no father,
no,
no guidance, no real, no real true north for you at this point, right?
and then also at that age where even kids that had a father,
Mhm.
it's the age where you think you're a man now.
Okay.
So no matter even
Yeah,
kids
once you
that
become adult,
even
once
kids
you're
that had a
18.
father probably went through this stage. So that's the stage I was in too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I thought I was the man. So here I'm selling. You know, I was giving young kids, you know, packs to hold for me, and then buying them, you know, Air Max and stuff. You know, like it was. When I look back at it, like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm glad I went through it
Mhm.
because you know today
Well, how could you be the person you are today?
I feel like today is why I was put on this earth, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, let's not give.
Yeah, I know. I was
stopping.
stopping. I was stopping.
All right, so you're a young adult. How much time you got in the ECI or incarceration? Let's say that. How much time you got in incarceration?
And my
in total,
somewhere,
training school, ECI,
somewhere
everything.
between 14 and 15 years.
14, 15 years. Steve,
3 years straight was my biggest straight
stretch.
bid.
Yeah, stretch.
You know.
And that's a long time, brother.
Yeah.
Steve, let me ask you something.
Yo,
If I take any 3 years, how old are you, Steve?
46.
All right, you're 46 years old. If I could take any 3 years of your life away, what 3 years would you give up?
And
Wow.
the 3 years that I was married.
I've never been asked that question. That's a crazy question, bro.
Right? Because that's basically what you did. You gave
one
up.
abstract dude.
You gave up 3 years of your
Yeah,
life
man.
straight, right?
Yeah.
With no,
Yeah.
you didn't have the decision on what you were eating, what you were watching, what you were wearing, who you were hanging out with, how you were gonna learn, how you were gonna take care of yourself. Nothing. You just gave all them rights up to your life.
And since we're talking about fathers, fortunately at that time I had no knowledgeable kids. You know what I'm saying?
All right,
I was stopping.
So now you're an adult. You got a lot of time. Going into the prison system.
And dude, they put me.
You're lost, right?
Because of my ex. They looked at my juvenile charge. Because when I went to prison,
And that's
this is
something not supposed
this is
to
my
do either.
first bid for drugs, first time getting a felony, and they classified me. They sent me to medium. They sent me to
Straight
the
to
SNF
medium.
building, and back then,
Medium.
back then that building was wide open, bro.
Yeah, it
and
was
that's when
open.
the Tilling Hasses, they ran, sports coming. They had softball teams coming in playing, COs. People were getting drugs from the prisons.
Right.
It was crazy.
My father was very big in the prison world.
Yeah, man.
In the Rhode Island prison
Yeah.
world. They actually wrote a manslaughter law after my father. So,
Dude, you
like-
see these movies where, the Italians, they got, tables
really
and they
going
got
on.
bread, they
Yeah.
got, the little garlic, they cooking, and they really,
Yeah, that was really going on.
Yeah,
That's
it
really
really
going
was.
on.
Cells looking like bedrooms.
all right. So let's get to your first relationship on having a child.
So when I was in juvenile, I started dating someone, right?
Mhm.
And it went like we were a couple as long as I was on the streets. You know what I'm saying?
So when you got locked up, nowhere to be seen. She wasn't writing you, visiting
Well,
you, nothing.
I
Phone calls,
kind
nothing?
of was the person that I seen that thinking about the streets hurt because I did love
So
it.
you figured it out early.
Yeah.
You figured out early how to bid.
There's a few things in my life that I do not
You
know
designed
how.
yourself.
I do not know how I was capable of having certain willpower.
You designed yourself to be a bidder.
Dude,
Design
yeah,
yourself.
man.
That's ultimately what it is. You know, if you were the type of guy that would lose his mind not having his girl, or lose his mind about not having his freedom, right? Then you make this different decision. That's the light switch that people talk about when you're on the street. Like, oh, I can't do that. But you're already comfortable. Like, damn, I can go to jail. I'm gonna make.
Dude,
You know?
so not having a father,
Yeah.
and my mom, she moved, like every year we would move into a different neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when a kid moves to a different neighborhood and he's a new kid? You know, you're tested, you know what I'm saying? So I was always that person that I looked
Your
around.
mother moved around often?
I looked around. When I walked in an unfamiliar place, I was that person that was like, okay, that's over there, like, you know, I had to. So that's why that's why I knew when I went to prison that I couldn't relate to the outside. I had to, you know, and it was my first time. I was like, Christmas, I can't, no, I don't have no, I'm not home opening presents under a tree. Like, you know, when you have a life where you are getting that, and then you find, boy, that's when that reality kicks in, bro.
Starts kicking in.
And yeah, man, and
you're changing your DNA at that point.
And ACI at that time, dude, like for what is it, per capita? How they say it, that it, you know, it was one of the worst prisons in the country per capita. They, you know, so if that prison had as many inmates as the prison in California,
back then they had that big riot with the.
No,
cameras.
I'm talking before that though.
Before
like,
the riot.
Yeah, man. I mean, they had. Like I said, you know,
early '80s. You're talking about.
You know,
nuts too.
You know, But I'm talking like
'70s and '80s. They used to have a
late '80s, early '90s.
They had the rescues actually popped outside of Max. There was a rescue that would stay there and wait for people to get messed up. So.
No doubt.
Hurt, injured, whatever.
COs got thrown off of third tiers back,
right,
you know?
Right.
Like,
so it was serious back then. So
the guys were wearing their own clothes.
Let's get to you becoming a dad. When did that change?
So while I was in prison, because my mom moved again, she moved to Virginia. You know, she was like, you made those decisions. When you get out, come on, I got a bed for you. So, and that's what happened. So I made parole. I made first shot parole, and everybody was like, "Oh, you never." Everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Before you said
but like I said, I'm that person that studies everything. I figured that loophole, and that loophole was if you get an interstate compact, if you went for out of state parole.
Yeah.
So because my mom had a good foundation out there for me, and my record wasn't that bad out here, I made it and went out there, and then you know what I did? I found the projects because I got in a shootout out there and got flown back here because Virginia.
Virginia.
You know, I was 18, you know what I'm saying? 19, man, and Virginia was woo.
Yeah.
Were you close to DC?
My first bad story, first thing I heard when I moved to Virginia was these kids, on the news, they found a car with 2 dead people in it and with their feet hanging out the car. But they were from New York, and whoever killed them took their shoes off and laid them in the seats. You know, and
that's a serious situation.
Yeah, because Virginia.
And that's the first story you get.
Because they didn't like out of town because Virginia was a money state, so you had people coming from everywhere.
Yeah,
that's why drug charges in Virginia are fed. But you know, getting back to the father, now I'm out there. So
you're in Virginia, and is this where you become a dad in Virginia?
When I came home from prison, they gave me 48 hours to get to Virginia. And that's when I became a dad. But
on that journey.
2 days, I put it in. I put in a little work. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, we didn't know.
So all right, now, is this you have?
This is my first
son.
Yep, my first child.
Mark Jr.
In my relationship. Yep, and you know.
When did you find out the woman was pregnant?
As soon as she started showing.
Couple months.
I don't remember exactly, but you know.
You're in a committed relationship at this time, or
no. We're not even together. We weren't together when we, you know. I mean, we had
Is that-
separated. And
Is that what put you guys together? Did it make a relationship once?
Yes, yes. And see,
so you got good intentions.
That's what a lot of families do too.
Yeah,
see, that's a topic when you're talking about fathers. That's a topic to identify because parents think by staying together they're doing it for the kids, but sometimes it's worse for the kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
instead of just respecting each other, raising each other.
But in this situation, it wasn't because it was saying, okay, you got another opportunity to become that traditional family. So we tried it. You know what I'm saying?
Now
we
was it
moved in together.
Was it your decision, her decision, mutual decision?
It was both of us. We still were attracted to each other. We were both still single. You know, so I mean.
All right, so you have your son.
I come back here, move.
He's born here or Virginia?
Yeah, he's born here.
Rhode Island.
Because she's a native Rhode Islander. She's Narragansett Pequot Indian.
All right, so you have your son.
Yeah, we're living together.
You get a job?
Or
you hustling still?
Listen, my mom, 10 years old, when she worked in a bar, and then she did the accounting the next day.
Yeah.
I was getting paid to pick up cigarette butts in the parking lot. My mom gave me good work ethics, bro.
Right, good.
I've always had work. And then because, like I said, I studied things, when I started hustling, I knew I had to disguise myself too. So I kept a job because, there was certain things I just, without a father, it was crazy. It was like somebody put something in my head. It was, I was before life.
So you have your son, you're living together
Yep.
with the girlfriend, and
we have another. She gets pregnant again.
Is it?
But when
boy,
I had,
girl?
but to
Is it
be
a boy
honest,
or girl?
a girl.
Your daughter. So you have now you got a son and a daughter. This is the
there's-
American dream. You got a
But
boy,
there's
girl.
something that I identify. When I had my son, right,
Yep.
I wasn't being the father I should have been.
Right.
And she was putting me on blast on that. She I'd be on the corner, I would be on the block. She came up there a couple times and put my son in my hands,
Yeah.
because I wasn't spending, and you know what I'm saying?
Any quality time.
And looking at it now, I can't be mad at her for that. You know what I'm saying? Here I am, thinking, all I got to do is, give you the nut and then come home with some money or something, and then you cook and,
you do your job, I'll do mine.
You change the diapers and
right.
make sure you got the school clothes on.
That was like the 70s, 60s, 70s, even
early
early 80s way of things.
Way of thinking.
That's not right because I didn't know because I had no one to teach me. You know what I'm saying? I had no one to,
indirectly
mold me.
television was probably teaching you at that time. Music was probably teaching you.
Well, the streets is an addiction. The lifestyle was, it was like whoever people that have a drug addiction and how they say that first high, they were like, it was like, wow, that's what that lifestyle was for me because I started making money. I had power. I was respected. And for the first time, it was like I had an identity.
Right.
It was, you know what I'm saying? Because all my growing up life, I was trying to get an identity, but my mom would keep moving. So it was like I could never be there long enough to, claim my spot, to claim my seat,
Yep.
So now finally I got something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a good looking little dude, you know what I'm saying? And I was making some money, I didn't have a problem with, I wasn't that person with a gun where I'd pull up my shirt and show it to you.
Show off. Show off.
I wanted a black gun. I didn't want that chrome nickel plated because when I don't want you to see it when I pull it out. That's like, hey, I'm gonna shoot you, so you better get ready.
I used to have a choice. Mine was a 380.
Yeah, man. My first gun was a 38. No, a 32.
Yeah.
A 32 revolver. But I mean, and I wasn't being that father, man. And she put me on blast, and then my daughter was born. And
did it change anything in the house?
Yeah, because
having a girl.
Yeah, because if I wanted to stay there, and be in a relationship, I had to. And plus, now there's two kids. You know what I'm saying? So, and then my daughter. So because, and that's one of my notes. Because me being a player. No, first of all, my son, right? I was teaching him, like preparing him, like it was like boot camp. I was tough on him.
Tough.
And Like I brought him in the woods during snow in Newport and made him climb rocks. Here I am. I'm like, what the, like, preparing him for to understand how to walk the land. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the jungle, because I knew being raised how many problems I had. It was like, that's that natural instinct.
Yeah.
I was trying to teach him that stuff because
right.
that's what I experienced when I should have been trying to, teach him love and guidance, but I thought that's where that question comes in: street knowledge or book knowledge. Which ones? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
And if you add, that's a debatable thing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
If you, which one would you choose, Steve? We'll ask you first, and then we'll ask whoever wants to answer it.
Well, I can't answer it because of where I came from. The street. I am a book smart kid, but I'm so book smart I would get bored. Street knowledge came easy to me. The street world came easy to me.
Yeah, because I had no choice, because my mother was a single mother, and that's all she could afford was certain neighborhoods where there was certain people, and and I had and then also my big brother, he hung like in Newport, like you said, the rich people. It's weird because you can go down the street and there's us on Cowie Street with guns and drugs and like 30
doing all the wrong things.
Yeah, and then you go down a couple miles and it's cobblestone and
Rich,
historical
like,
houses and
real
stuff.
rich.
And,
Real rich. Old money.
My brother didn't follow. He didn't get into that life. He was living. He was doing good, man.
Yeah,
he was a good kid.
good kids.
Everyone liked him. And he, like I said, he had a father. And like that is trauma.
Yeah.
I think I don't know where my first traumatic experience was, but I know that I could say that because of the things I went through and decisions I made as an adult, that was part of the reason. That hurt watching my brother drive on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, man.
So all right. So now you have 2 children. What ends the relationship? What was the final straw?
Well, no, we didn't end at 2.
You didn't end at 2.
No.
Children
But that was my first lessons I thought I had to teach my son. Mm-hmm. Now I have a daughter. So now my mentality is my first lessons that I think I have to teach her is to watch out for guys like me. Because I was a sly dude. Like I wasn't a snake, but like I could have the most beautiful girl in the world and I would still look at, like my mind, I just I didn't have that a structural state of mind as far as a family because I didn't know what a family was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my kid's mother was a good mother. She was solid. She was a
Did
soldier.
you do any time with this woman at this point?
Yeah.
You had these children?
Yeah. So then after my daughter, I'm trying to raise her like that. So she came everywhere with me. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you're coming with me.
So she was more of your road dog. Out of the 2 children, she was with you more than the son?
That's where I really started doing, better father things. You know what I'm saying?
Started being more self-conscious about what you're
because
teaching your children.
Because I knew she was going to be a grown woman one day, and I didn't know if I was going to be around, so I wanted to teach her about guys like me. And I didn't have bad intentions, but I manipulation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not fair to the woman. Like, let her know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you throwing it at D just so you could stay in her house, or whatever.
So let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's get to the trenches.
So now I have another son.
You have another. So you're on the 3rd child, same one.
Yeah. Third.
Okay. And what's his son's name?
Jamal Gonsalves.
All right. So you have Mark. What's your daughter's name?
Kayla,
and then Jamal.
Yep. All by the same mother.
All by the same mom.
Which is very hard.
Now let me ask you.
To do.
What's that, Steve?
Like nowadays from the 90s late 80s to 90s, there's a lot of mothers that have different children from different fathers.
Right.
By having one, this happened with,
Yeah.
he has 3 kids with the same
With the same-
person.
I had the
which
opportunity.
Which was great.
That's why I was saying I had the opportunity, and she was trying to do that. I give her respect. She was, she wanted a family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we talked. She asked me. I woke up and found. Anyway, so when my Jamal was born, 3 months after he was born, I went to prison again.
How long?
That's when I did my 3.
The 3 straight.
And that 3.
How much time you got in at this point? Up to that point.
Yeah, up to that point.
In and out, months, years.
No, every time I was so I got the year of training school.
Yeah.
I got my first adult sentence was 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I think I got 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Virginia, I was locked up for a while before I was extradited.
Yeah.
And then now this sentence, I got
So
3 years.
You're pushing on a nickel
And then
before you got your 3 years straight.
yeah, and then with that 3 years was also a time in my life where I was trying to hold my seat because I was doing some I was with people. There was big things. There was moves being made, right?
Right.
And I understood that you have to do certain things sometimes if you choose to live that life.
Right.
$5 or $5,000. It's not how much someone owes you and how you handle it. It's the principle.
Principles.
Yeah,
you have rules you have to live by.
You have to, and sometimes you don't want to. But
you know the game.
if you want to
know what you signed up
continue,
for.
you have. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you know what you signed up for. So now you go to jail.
And that's when our
what's-
relationship ends.
She
said she
what
had
put you
enough.
in jail this time?
That and drugs.
Selling drugs.
Yep.
So she looks to you and says, "Listen,
She
I'm
says,
not
"This
doing
is
this
it."
anymore.
Yep.
I can't do
She
it.
said, "This is.
I don't want to expose.
You're not getting
we have a
it."
new son, Jamal. The other 2 kids, they don't deserve this. I am out."
Yeah,
So she was out, and
Yep.
you were good with it.
Yeah, because actually, I was because if she didn't, that would have been a time again when I'm doing a bid with a relationship.
All right.
I don't want to call home and say,
Right.
where
All right,
you
so
at.
let's stop there now
Yep.
because this is here's the problem. Here's where the growth should have started in your brain, but it didn't. At this point, you resorted back to the primal instincts of survival. Cut the fucking world off. I'm staying here. I gotta do what it takes to make me survive in this 3 year sentence.
Yep.
And the worst thing you possibly could have did was cut yourself off from your children at this point.
Well, no, I didn't. No, that was the only thing I did. I didn't cut myself from my children.
Oh,
like
you
my
walked
mother
away
was
from the
my
relationship,
mother.
right?
Yeah, but my mother.
That's your mother. Your mother.
My mother made sure but just like you said, your grandmother kind of.
Right.
My mother jumped in, and my kid's mother was a great mother, but my mother, she's like, I'm
She
not
was there
ready.
for them.
Who?
Was your mother bringing your children? up to see
Yes. Because
you?
my
Often,
kid's mother.
or-
No, like every 2 weeks. I didn't want that.
That's nothing. You know that.
I
Right?
I know.
Think about that.
Yeah, and
Every 2 weeks you get to see your kids.
Yeah.
Maybe if holidays.
And
whatever,
then
sick,
I
whatever.
was mostly in higher securities, so
Oh, the
you know,
torture they had to go through just to get in there.
Yes, and they didn't want that shit,
Nah,
man.
and it's
You know what I'm
boring to them.
saying?
After
You
a
know,
little while, they want to be with their friends or
So
something.
I was
too.
okay with not really having visits with them, but because like they were still young, I wanted to come home
How
and
about
them
phone
know
calls?
who I was,
How about
right?
phone calls and
Nah, I
letters?
didn't.
No phone calls, no letters to them.
No, I would write. I would write, and I would every once in a while I call, but I seen how that phone played a part in that prison, man. Nah, I'm not getting involved with that. Nah,
Right.
I started, and then
Well, you
also
protecting yourself.
I started building my body. That was the first time I really started building my body,
You found the weights.
And rest his soul, my boy Kareem. You know what I'm saying? I started working out when I couldn't do one pull up, and he said, I said I want to work out, and I was working out, and him and someone else, they were already doing, and I was way behind. They would have to like take the plates off, the bar, change it around,
Help
clips
you out.
in, just when it was my set, then put it back on for them.
Yeah, they were holding your hand for you.
Nah, they were making.
That's holding your hand in
correct.
my family, you know.
Well,
I ain't picking up your weights for you. That's your job. That's if you can't pick up the weights, you have no business even working out with us. That was our mentality.
yeah, but he also wanted me to get into it.
That's what I mean.
So
that's why we used to call that
yeah.
holding your hand. Let me hold your hand and walk you and teach you right here. That's what they would do.
He would like
It's
tried to do
insulting, but on a brotherly love way.
Yeah, I tried to do a pull up. I couldn't. I tried to give up. He was like, "Nah, get the."
Yeah, they're gonna grab you. They're gonna grab you.
You know what I'm
Cross your leg. Cross your legs. Let me help you out until you can get it for yourself.
And I started, and I did. I grabbed it, and then I started seeing it and feeling it. And you know what I'm saying? I also, like I said, because I was in Max, I had to play. I had to have that. You know, I had to. Man, Max. You know, that was after the riots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know. But while I was in Max for this 3 years, I got a visit. Like when men go to prison, right? And child support is looking for them men, that's when they find them because that Social Security number pops up. They got a relationship with the prisons.
And at this time that you're talking about is actually when America started changing stuff and they started taking licenses. They came up with the law to take your license from you and enable you to like even provide for yourself. They started putting
tougher.
Yeah, at that time they started back child support. They started doing the child support and coming at you.
So now I didn't want to mention this earlier because you kept reminding me that don't get too far ahead. But so when my daughter was born, me and my kid's mother broke up one time, and like. We would have fights before, and she'd be like, get out, and then I'd leave for 2 weeks, or, and then I'd be back. You know how it is. Right. You break everything up, and then you get back together. Now you got to buy new shit, right? So I told her one time, I said, look, tell me to get out again. I'm gone. I can't be. I'm a man. I ain't got time. I'm trying to make money, do this. I ain't got time to try to find a couch or, place to sleep for, and then I come back. So I got me a ill-ass apartment, you know what I'm saying? And then...
That was a wrap when that happened.
And then with that apartment came another child.
Different woman.
So, yes. So I have a son and a daughter. I had 2 women pregnant at the same time. Yep.
Oh, boy.
And
how did that feel?
And it was like the Hatfields and the, what's the other family?
Hatfields and McCoys?
McCoys. So because they hated each other. Them, oh my God. It was war. And then... friggin', I don't know if housing did it on purpose, but they put where I was living with my kid's mother, they put my other kid's mother right behind us. So they would sit on the porch. Oh my God, it was sick. You know what I'm saying?
So now you have,
but I didn't know, I wasn't denying the possibility of that pregnancy.
Oh wait,
but I wasn't.
You had doubts?
Yeah.
You had doubts.
So
you have Mark, Kayla, and Jamal, he is yours, right?
Yep. And now this is my son, and man, he's a good kid, man.
So you know he's your son now, but now, at that time you had doubts.
Yeah.
Doubts
and without getting into it, so it's not about the mother,
no, try to stick to the dad perspective.
Yeah, because the child support guy came to Max.
Yeah.
And
he wanted your DNA, he wanted your swab.
No, he came. I had already given my blood.
Yeah.
So he came, he said, sign this, your father. And now,
congratulations.
My son's 3 years old because I'm getting ready to get out of Max. And now I almost got booked. I almost got in trouble because I got aggressive with him because I'm like, this kid's 3 years old. If I took my blood when he was a baby, I could have had a bond with him. Yeah. I could have tried to, be in that kid's life. Yeah, now he's 3 years now, and I'm coming. I know I'm getting ready to come home, and it's gonna be a struggle. Like. I'm like, are you serious? So that's so his name is Marcus.
Marcus.
And now hold on. Remember how I said they battled, right? I have Marcus and Mark.
Right.
And so I don't know if that was spiteful, but them two kids' mothers, boy, they did. I don't know if they like each other today. I gotta ask them that. Yeah. Hey, did you guys ever get along? Did you guys ever? Can you be in the same room today?
Cookouts together. You have cookouts together.
Can you be in the same room today?
Right,
but anyway, so now I'm trying to be a father to him.
Yeah.
I come home.
3
now,
years.
Yep, I'm sleeping on my mother's couch.
When you came home, you came home with a game plan. Did the ACI help you out anyway? Did you take any programs to be a dad, a better person, or anything like that?
Well,
at this time.
So I because I always wanted to work. I came home and I got a job with a construction company.
Okay.
Right. Well, actually, hold on. I came home and my boy T.I. was doing security at a nightclub that DJ Buck was coming down every Thursday.
Okay.
And it was off the chain. Mm-hmm. And he got me a job bouncing there, And then, so all my life before that's like a chapter, right? So all my life before that, right? The only, like, in Newport, you have it's not black and white, right? Racial. In Newport, there's white and white, because there's a Newport white, and then, an in-town white, and then there's a hood white. So before that, the white people I hung with were from the hood. They understood, so I didn't see the color, Mm-hmm. But now I get out and I started dating a woman that was older than me, we were going on boats, and she had already. I'm like, and then I got a job bouncing in town. I had never liked going downtown Newport,
mm-hmm.
So I got a job in the union. You know what I'm saying?
So you started making better decisions at this time.
Yeah.
I
got opportunity.
Was it FJ at this time in your head? Was you like trying to? Was it any type of effort of not going back to that lifestyle at this time?
Yeah. Because and see, that's what I'm saying. I had an opportunity.
Okay.
Like, I'm like that cat with 9 lives, because I had some opportunities, and I'm very fortunate that I got. Because sometimes there's some people that only had like one, and they didn't choose the right one. So that today, gratitude is a whole topic, a whole show.
Right.
But so I got in the union. I was making good money. I got my license back. I bought a little car. Labor's Union.
271.
Nope. It was 673. We was a small union in Middletown.
Okay.
Right. Eventually, the Rhode Island Labor's Union became one, right. And so now I was 271. But I'm making good money. Like I made like 50 grand in 6 months on one job.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They work more.
Dude, they're making $30 an hour right now.
So all right. So you got a good job.
I
Are the children back in your life at this time?
My children, they were always in my life.
But I mean,
they just weren't under my roof. Yeah,
that's a big difference.
See, I didn't have a roof.
Yeah.
I was starting to make. So I had a good job. I was taking my steps. I was trying.
Yeah.
I got a nice job. I got a car, a little cheap. It was $200 Oldsmobile, but that thing was clean.
Yeah.
And the weekends, I'm with my kids and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also attracted. Now there's a new addiction. Because now I'm downtown Newport, and it was like
whole new life.
It was like starlights. I was like, oh shit! I didn't know this goes down in here, and it was easier because the cops didn't mess with them.
They don't mess with people down there. That's tourism down there.
I'm like, damn! I don't have to stand on a corner and hustle. Yeah. But I wasn't hustling yet.
Too many people had too much power.
I wasn't hustling yet. I was still doing the right thing, right? Yeah. I was bouncing, making good money under the table, and then I was in the union, right? But when where I was bouncing, like, these people, they made money. Like, this bartenders that make like $1,000 on a Saturday in Newport, right? And they did powder cocaine. You know what I'm saying?
So it made it hard to turn away the money.
Well, yeah, because
it made it hard.
I was always around them, and they were always. I wasn't using. Yeah. They were always doing it, and one day I said, "What do you pay for that, man?" Yeah. And they told me, I said, "Hold up, never call that dude again." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Oh, this is a dude! Oh my God!" And I started, but then also, right, that That's when I started using. That's when I started
Oh, so
blowing. I started blowing lines, right?
You started using yourself.
Yeah, not. I wasn't. I was. My addiction was women.
Yeah.
So I started
So yours
using
was
because of
recreational,
women.
right? Yeah,
I tried it because of women.
Yeah.
Because they had all these fine. I was like,
yeah,
you know, and it was social.
It was like alcohol.
Powder, powder
fun.
cocaine, and this.
It's like weed today.
Crowd was social. You know what I'm saying? It was like nobody. You know, there was people that didn't do it, but when they knew their friends, they didn't look at them different, right? Mm-hmm. Not like crack. You know what I'm saying? Not like bass, because you know the news and politics made bass look worse. You know, because in actuality, addiction's an addiction. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But so women, and I seen my friend. I was like, she'll do all that for this little. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then I started, you know, now I'm putting powder on my stomach, and you know, we're doing lines off, and it got. Right, so I experienced some new stuff with women.
Yeah, all right, we don't want to dive into that
no,
stuff.
I know.
So now, you got your 4 children, you got a full-time job, a part-time job, and now you're back to hustling.
Yep. And then I started playing rugby, and I'm supposed to be a father on the weekend. Yeah. I'm supposed to be a father on the weekend.
So this took precedent over fatherhood.
And then I started making selfish decisions because on the weekends, sometimes on the weekends we'd have games the same time, and I would go to mine.
Your children.
I'm supposed to be going to my son's soccer game,
and you're going to your game.
And I'm going to mine, right? And my mom she was disappointed.
You're not going to get that time back.
She was disappointed. She was like, look, you only have the weekends, because she gave it to me. She was like, you know, I give it to you. You work during the week. It's hard to get with the kids. But when you got that time in the weekends, there's nothing else. You have no more life for fun. Well, you have to figure out that with your kids, because you're going to be a father. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? My mom and that's when I started making bad decisions again.
What year is this?
I had an opportunity, 99.
1999.
You know? Like
turn of the century, stuff starting to change,
man.
Technology starting to take over, people had cell phones,
you know,
cars are starting to look really, really good.
The white people around are different white people.
Different type of white people.
You know what I'm saying? And again, I had an opportunity to be a father. I you know, not that I was like not claiming, you know, I did for my kids, but I'd still be selfish.
So
you know?
Let me ask you this: do you think in your subconscious mind, the reason why you was able to be selfish was for the, you know, you're looking at yourself that, all right, I turned out this way. I'm doing this A, B, C, and D. My kid will be okay. Did that thought process, of course?
I kind of understand. I understand what you're saying, right? So, because I didn't have a father, I can't honestly. I'm not gonna sit here and say this is why I was being selfish, because I don't know. But maybe if I understood what a father was supposed to do, maybe I wouldn't have made those decisions.
Right.
And see, that's where, like, why I mentioned trauma earlier, because all those things growing up do affect you. So if I had a father, I might have knew I had to not play rugby on the weekends. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew that's what, you know, my father.
My
father threw a football. I never had someone to throw a football with me in the yard. You know, right. 2 baseball gloves, and, you know, teach me how to stand by the mound. You know, so I didn't realize how important it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought, you know, buying them, you know, sneakers, you know,
was ample enough.
Yeah, like.
So what was the next turning point? What was the next downfall?
That's when my life changed, because that's when now I'm no longer a boss, because I didn't even want to be a boss.
Yeah,
now I'm partying.
Yeah.
I'm having, I'm thinking I'm having, well, I mean, there's a couple stuff, but I was lost. That's when
you're enjoying it.
And see,
it's a different world.
So I wasn't. That's when one of my addictions became, you know, unmanageable, because I wasn't. When I say addiction, I didn't like steal and, you know, sell to get it, right, because I sold, so I always had it. But I had no turn-off switch.
It was
Like,
just going.
I could have it in my pocket, and if I wasn't doing it, I didn't need to do it. But once I stayed, boy,
Once you're going, you're going.
like being in prison, when I'd open that bag of Doritos, I'd eat the whole bag.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I had no turn-off switch. So that, to me, that's an addiction. Because I could have stopped at a certain, I could have, you know.
So where did this addiction land you?
Making real fucked up, and that's where swear does come in, because it's organic, making fucked up decisions, because I had opportunity. Again, I had opportunity
To be a dad.
Who gets a job in a union making 401k, benefits, life insurance, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, serious money, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm not going to work because I'm in bed with 2 girls and a mirror with some, you know, powder on it. You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, that was a big, like, I was on the,
Did you lose your job? They kick you out? They say you can't come in no more? What happened?
Eventually that became the story. I got out of the union.
What about the nightlife? What was going on with the nightlife bouncing and stuff?
I stayed. I still got a little, you know, security job, you know.
Well, you're obviously a well-respected person. You know, you hold yourself good right now. We're talking about now, but back then, like, you know, was you able to stay in the bouncing? Is that something that felt natural to you?
That became, so when I had the under the table job and then the union job, right? Mm-hmm. I was making choices that were better for the under the table job. Mm-hmm. So that my union was no longer priority.
Yeah, I was about to say
so I made this decision that fucked that up.
Yeah.
Because I had an opportunity.
Now,
like, you
now
know,
hustle. Are you selling while you're a bouncer?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'd get calls, bartenders.
How often are you seeing your children at this time?
At this time, I'm living on my mother's couch. Mm-hmm. You know. No, I ended up getting an apartment. Yeah. You know, but I was that man that, you know, this old in your mother's basement on your couch. I did that. I made a lot of bad decisions like that. You know what I'm saying?
So
I didn't man up.
Are you seeing your children at this time?
Yeah.
So all right. So
but I was making, like I said, I was making selfish. Like sometimes I'd have to pick up my kids early in the morning, right?
Yeah.
But I'd stay up all night doing powder with a girl and think I can get up from bed and go see my, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, when you're younger, you can't probably.
No, but you can't. But you can't because you.
Well, eventually
listen
catches
how
up to you.
fucked up that sounds.
Yeah,
I didn't sleep. Well, what? Fuck me. I didn't sleep. I was doing powder all night and having sex, and then I get up out of bed and shower or whatever, and then go to my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, sleep deprivation. You know what I'm saying?
You don't make
like,
the best decision when you have that. So.
I'm not. So I'm still, even when I was with my father, I'm still not being the best father I can be, man.
All right, so let's get you along now.
I went back.
What was your lowest point? Let's jump into this right now. Right, you ready? Are you ready? What was the lowest point of your life?
Lowest point in my life is jumping ahead again. So
that's what I'm saying.
and then we're gonna go back.
No, I'm gonna pull you ahead. I'm gonna pull you.
Yep. The lowest point of my life.
I want to get to the good stuff before we run out of time.
There's a part where you would think would be the lowest point of my life.
Yeah.
But the lowest point of my life was being 46 years old, right? Mm-hmm. Getting out of jail once again, right? Having $200, 2 pair of pants, and standing in line at a shelter.
All right, so freeze your thought process there. At this time, how many children do you know you have? At 46 years old?
4.
You know you have 4 children?
Yeah. Yep.
How many children do you have?
I have 5.
Okay, so at this time, 46 years old, you got 4 children in your mind. You are hitting absolute rock bottom. If a man could ever hit anything less, it's not possible. You hit the rock bottom of all rock bottoms. And do you have a relationship with your children at this time?
Yeah, like I said, I always had a relationship with my children, but
are they respecting you as the dad that you should be?
They were still younger and kind of had to. You know, it was, you know, so I was in relationships, right? You know, and
not living
with you know,
Mm-hmm.
and these were good. I had some again opportunities because they were good women,
Yeah.
you know, and they was like, all right, we know you as. Well, I'll give you an opportunity because they seem good in me, you know, like just like you know.
Let's
luckily,
stay there with the bad stuff though.
So
you're at rock bottom. You got $200 in your pocket.
Yep.
You got nowhere to live, right?
2 pair of pants. I got a backpack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you see homeless people walking around with their backpack, right?
Yeah, that's their life.
That's their life, man. Right? And so I would go to Newport, right? Mm-hmm. And because carrying that backpack, you can't leave it at the shelter. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's going. So carrying that backpack, right? Now there's a coffee shop in Newport, so this is the in-town white end, right? Mm-hmm. I'd go in the coffee shop, have a coffee, put my backpack down, and leave it for hours, and nobody ever touch it.
It's comfortable because you knew
it was
they lived differently.
Well, they didn't even. People probably didn't.
It doesn't make it. It's not.
That's not their grind. Yeah.
So now you're dead broke. You got nothing to your name.
I'm court ordered to a drug program because I did a year and was sentenced to a 90-day program.
All right. So take us through this journey right here. That you know I'm going to bring you on. Take us through the journey. So now, for my knowledge right now, there's only been 2 people to go through what you go through and live. Everybody else that's ever decided to take this journey that you took did not live. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Did you hear the words coming off? They did. Many I don't know how many people did. Many people have tried to do what you did, and they were successful and you wasn't. And there was another person that wasn't, and they're from San Francisco. Yep. You're here in Newport. You're hitting rock bottom, and you're thinking the right thing to do is to do what?
All right. So I just want to go back to the rock bottom real quick. Okay. Right? So that's me again. That's at that time, and now that's my mind being selfish still because. Right. I'm saying rock bottom was standing in that line in that shelter, right? But my rock bottom was because of because I was partying, right? And you know, I was with someone, you know, girlfriend, and they're like, look, I don't live that life, you know, and they kept giving me chances, and you know, and my life was becoming unmanageable, and then my kids were resenting me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They're at the age where now they didn't run to me with their hands open, you know, when they see daddy. You know, they came, but they really wanted to, you know, and, you know, I still wasn't, you know, it started hurting me. It been hurting me, but it was hurting me, right? So to me, and this answers a lot of questions because what you've been getting at and what I'm getting ready to say, there's a question that people ask me. So I chose in my head, right?
What you thought was the right thing to do.
In my head, because I have some diagnoses right now, right? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't diagnosed then. I wasn't on medications, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I was partying, you know, sleep, you know, and depression, you know, the trauma from my child. And man, I took the keys to a rental that me and a girlfriend had while she was asleep and drove about 100 miles per hour to the top of the Newport Bridge.
Thoughts were racing. Your car was racing like your thoughts.
I wanted to get up there because I snuck out, and I didn't know she knew I snuck out. Mm-hmm. And the rent, it was, you know, I didn't have a license. Rental was in her name. And she would have called the cops. So I didn't want, I had something in my mind. I was going to jump. And I wanted to jump. I told I was that.
Mark, let me stop you right there. Yep. Steve, as we're talking, have you been playing the images that we put in the...
No, because a lot of the images were like from this point on. Kind of like from this point on, all the positive stuff.
So as you feel free, fill in the blanks with the visuals as Mark's telling stories right now. Okay.
All right.
Like, try to fill in the blanks because he gave you a lot of information there. So, all right. So, Mark, you're in the car. It's a rental. Is it in your name or her name?
It's in her name. I
Right,
didn't
so
have a license.
So you're in a rental. Her rental. What type of car was it?
What's that? The
That you-
Malibu?
Malibu?
Impala? No, Chevy Impala.
Chevy Impala, right?
Yeah.
And things.
Yeah.
Nice car.
That's why cops use them
What
undercover.
year is this?
2015.
2015. Nice car. You're flying up the Newport Bridge, 100 miles an hour.
Because I wanted to jump and I didn't want to.
You know that's the first
get
time you said
stopped.
that right now, right? No, nobody knew that up to this point. So
Yeah.
you wanted to jump.
I wanted to jump.
You wanted to jump.
And all my life, like, I've been that person, right? When if I said I was going to do something,
You did it.
I did it. Even if I decided and knew after I said it
It was the
wasn't the
wrong
wrong
thing to
thing,
do.
I had to do it because
you said
because of the streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's that
You had to
mentality.
stick to this moral
So
code that
I
you had
told-
inside you.
I was crying. I tried to call a couple people. I tried to call a couple of those people that said you can call me anytime.
Anytime, and
Right?
they weren't there.
Right?
For
You know what I'm
whatever
saying?
reason.
I tried to call a couple of them people. And maybe my mother at this time was suffering from ALS, right? So maybe if she wasn't, she would have been there once again. You know what I'm saying? Because she was always there, right? And nobody answered the phone. And I was hoping somebody would, answer before I got to the top because I was going to let them talk me out of it because a week before I climbed over the edge and my girlfriend stopped me. 1 week before I actually jumped.
All right, so 1 week before you was able to be in a position where you was like, this is it. I'm out of here. This is the right thing to do. This is better for everybody if I'm no longer here. It's better for my children, better for my family, better for the world.
My mother
Right.
was dying. The icebreaker was after messing up in the union. Like
Messing up the good opportunities.
I was
that you
a
had.
good worker, but now I had no more opportunities, right? Because they also know I sold, you know what I'm saying, and was partying, and they didn't want. That's a liability on their jobs.
Right.
So when I had a job with someone, and then they came up to me and said, "Look, I'm subbing from someone, and they don't want you on the job."
They don't
So
trust you,
so that because I wanted to do the right thing. I was tired of being tired,
Tired
right?
of being tired.
I was tired. I wanted to, and I felt that I had no more opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I drove to the top, slung the door open,
Jumped out.
jumped out, jumped up on the railing, and
Stop right there. Let us sit there. Like,
yeah.
Steve, you hearing what he's saying right now?
And like I said, a week before I climbed over, and I ain't gonna front. I looked down, and I was glad my girl was there, cause
Right.
yeah, hell yeah.
It gave you an opportunity to think
Someone that actually had a clear head to try to help
I was.
you.
It was one of them crying wolf things.
But it's not really. No matter this is something I learned in my own personal journey with the situation. Even when you cry wolf, it's not cry wolf because you have the intent. It's just that
I'm glad
your
you said that.
subconscious is there. It's something speaking to
I
you.
hope more people understand what you just said. Can we stop on that for a second?
Yeah.
So because I know people have friends or family that I'm gonna kill myself, right? And they 20 times, man, I'm
20
tired,
times, yeah.
And
He's
they
not
get
gonna do it.
and then they call their friend and say I just want to hang myself, and the friend's like, look, man, just go lay down, take some Valiums, chill out, and that one time that the person didn't give them the attention, that's what makes it unfair for people.
Yeah.
But
I think that terminology
I'm
gets
glad you
misused.
brought that up.
I only had to
That's
because I had
serious.
my own experiences. So that terminology. I feel personally that terminology gets misused for it should be like this guy's stealing from me and they're not stealing from me. Or this I'm gonna do the, or there's something bad over here. But when it comes to the subject of suicide, right? When it comes to the subject of ending your life, you get one life. That's it. And you got one opportunity to do it, and when it's over, it's over. When the end's here, that's it. So it doesn't matter how many times it takes. It only takes it that one time. It's only that one time. So, all right. So let's get back to you jump out of the car, door swings open. Do you remember going over that railing?
Listen, the only part I don't remember was impact.
Impact.
I want to take my hat off for this because I want to make a sound.
Yeah.
Right? That was the sound. My clothes, like, almost, I don't know.
That's an eerie. By you doing that, that's an eerie. I can. You visually. That's why I went. My brain.
That's why I went. Because I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? So the other person you mentioned in California, right? The Golden Gate Bridge.
Right.
They asked him a question, right? And they said, when your hands left that railing, what'd you think? He said, I regretted it.
I regretted it at that moment.
But me,
you found
that sound, like, you know how kids wish they could fly?
Right.
You ever take a garbage bag and jump off the shed or something like that?
Right.
Like, everybody wants a Superman cape, right?
Right.
I felt free. I knew there was only a couple more seconds or whatever, right? And I felt like I was freeing my family. So that goes to, someone said, Mark, how could you do that? After I survived, someone said, how could you do that and you have kids? That's the thing.
How could you not?
This is why mental health needs a lot more awareness. Because in my head, right, not being medicated, had a traumatic life, you know what I'm saying? Made a lot of bad decisions that blended in with that traumatic life, right? My head was telling me it's going to be better for the people I love.
Yeah,
because if I stay alive, when I couldn't get that job, that, I was like, I can no longer work, right? And I always wanted to work, right? So I knew I couldn't just live street life and survive for the rest. So that's why I chose to do it after that, right? So I thought that while I'm alive, right? Because now also the partying that I thought I was hiding and being sneaky with, you know how the people that's high, they think they're being slick, but the people that's not being high, like,
see it all day long, right? They could tell.
So now it was being talked about too. And now I wasn't looked at like a boss anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. You've been demoted.
Yeah, man.
And now you've been demoted.
So now, and then my kids, they're cool now, right?
How old's Jamal? He's the youngest that you know of at this time. How old's he at this time?
At
2015.
Oh man, you made me do better. That's what, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So he was what, 28? I mean 18.
18 years, something like that. So he's just becoming an adult.
Yeah, and he's my baby. So that's what I'm saying.
Your son, how was the Mark?
Then?
Yeah.
Hey man, stop making me do math, man. I could have set them numbers up prior before. I'm not that quick with the math, man.
So I'm just trying to set the picture. So because what it is
he's driving.
You got to remember.
Everyone's driving.
Everyone's driving. So you got to remember where you was at 18, right?
Yeah.
Who you was at 18.
Everybody had been to cake parties. All my,
right.
I'm without getting into saying,
right.
But they had to experience high school.
Right.
So they were, yeah. So
all right. So what?
So now plus now they have their identities, right? And now there's whispers. His dad
did this.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did you see his dad? This walk of shame, like everybody's going to, getting up, going to work, and he had like a disco shirt on, going home, at 7 o'clock in the morning, and one of the points was, my daughter said to me, Dad, you lost a lot of weight. Because I kept telling people, I ain't losing no weight. I'm the same.
Yeah.
Because the mirror looked the same to me.
Right.
I didn't see the change, right? And then my son, right? We were arguing one time because I thought that's my sperm, right? He still has to obey me as a father, right? But now he done played high school football and everything. He like, hold on.
Is this Mark or
this is Jamal? He's like, you haven't been in my life like you should have been.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He's coming.
Not saying he hated me, but he's like, yeah.
He's coming as man. He has his own thoughts,
like,
values, morals.
He said, I'm on my own journey right now.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not gonna tell me. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And,
So let's get. So
but
you're flying through the wind. Let's get back to. You're flying through the wind. You felt free. Life. You thought you were successful, and you hit the water. You come unconscious.
I don't remember the impact. Right now in the air. Right, and I don't know if that happened, but I know there's that part of impact that I don't remember because I don't remember being like, that pain you think of I don't remember that, and if I don't, that means I was out. Because they say you pass out while you're going down because your body knows it, and the shock says nope, so I'm done.
It's protection. Your body when
your visual goes to your brain, and then you're
unconscious. Yeah. So, but then I'm like water and like I'm like.
How long after you think that was?
I just started going. I went deep, man.
So you're in the water and you're drowning.
I'm still going down. No, I'm still traveling. I was traveling about 80 miles per hour.
Right.
They did the math of the height, and then my body weight, and then doing that, you hit the water, you go about 20 feet under. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, is this heaven? You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, hold on. I thought I jumped off a bridge. Like, why am I seeing, like, I still have, what that, and then I came up, and now, I ain't gonna front, man. There's one thing, burn, like, I ain't trying to run in no fire, and I don't want to drown, because that's like, I was scared to drown. Now I wanted to live.
Now you pretty much woke up. You were born again.
I'm like, hold on, this didn't work. I thought, so I got a hard head, right? So the reason I chose the bridge, because I was like, oh, if I shoot myself in the head, I'll probably end up walking around like this, because I got a hard head. It would probably ricochet.
Right.
And because no one else survived, I'm like, this is a sure thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I'm like, hold on, that didn't work. And, and that wasn't my first, I had made a suicide attempt before through my depression. I overdosed and was in a coma for a week, and, so I'm like, hold on.
This is at this time is your second time?
This is my third time.
Third time.
The first time the first two was overdosing, not because I was getting high, because because I wanted to die.
Right.
I wanted to die, but I just wanted to go out sleeping,
Right.
And and now
ultimately,
I'm drowning.
That's what you're doing. You're trying to escape the pain anyway, so you're looking for the way to escape.
But
the
now
pain.
to get back, I'm drowning, and then I'm like, hold on. I know there's sharks in this water. I mean, they ain't no, there's not really great whites and stuff, but there is. There's about, they travel through, well, no, that's the Cape, though. But I'm talking about under the Newport Bridge. I know. And there's always that one that strays off. But under the Newport Bridge, there's like 12, 15-foot sharks.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind they are, but there's not great white. But there's sharks. And even, there's stripers. Stripers got them teeth, man. I'm not trying to get picked up. I'm not trying to get picked at. And I, you see in movies, now they're fighting for your body.
So
I'm scared. I'm trying to survive.
You're conscious. You survival mode kicks in.
Yep.
What happens?
What happens is,
how do you get out of the water?
So, I was in that water, right? An hour and a half.
Okay.
Trying to stay above.
That's a long time, bro.
I jumped at 3 a.m, right? And see, the numbers of time are factual because the Newport Bridge has a camera, right? And then the 4:30 comes in when the 911 call was made, because there's 3 people, right, that went out, but 2 weeks before, bought a boat, and they wanted to go fishing after they was hanging out, because they're, diehard fisher, and dude they went the wrong direction by accident because they live in
It
Warwick.
wasn't by accident.
No, I know.
Wasn't by accident.
I know. But see.
What, is there sun?
You
Is there
only
sun at this time? Is it dark out still?
No, they found me at 4:30.
Yeah.
So it's dark.
So it's dark.
So
right before dawn, though.
Yeah. So they
dark,
wanted to go
darkest
fishing under the
before dawn.
Jamestown Bridge, and dude went the wrong way. So the other one was like, fuck it, let's go to the Newport Bridge, because I guess I'm not a fisherman, but I do understand around the pylons, the fish get trapped and stuff. You know, you just keep dropping the line, and they were the only people on that water.
Then
They found me.
What season? What is it?
This is June. This is June 26th.
So it's freezing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We're in New
It's
England.
cold.
We're in New England. It's freezing.
And
right
listen, the deeper the water is, the cold. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We're in New
And
England.
then
It's
at
cold.
that time, there ain't no sun that kept it warm for a little bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Not until the end of August does the water start warming
Yeah,
up.
bro.
And it doesn't even really
People
warm
are
up that good.
listen. People are wearing coats still and Timberlands, and they're like,
So they. How do they see you? Do you see them? They see you? What happens?
Well, I remember. So when I was trying to survive, I remember looking up, and I'm like, why don't I see police lights? Because I had been struggling to hang above this water for an hour and a half. I'm like, why? There's no search party. I mean, when the hell that gonna happen, right? So when I start hearing voices, and I don't see anything, but I start hearing voices, right? But now also I'm freezing, and the pain, I felt pain now.
Now it's kicking
So
in.
I'm like, and I remember doing this.
Right. Uncontrollable.
Right? And now this part of the story is, this is quoted from what they said. One of the dudes was like, his girlfriend went down in the boat in the bottom, and he was like, turn that radio off. She said, I'm not playing no radio.
Oh, they can hear you.
They hear something.
Wow.
They don't know they're hearing a person.
Wow. Yeah, because what would make...
Who would think
if you're in a boat,
you're
would you
fishing?
think,
You're
like, what the hell?
I would actually know if I had a radio on if
What
I'm in a boat in nowhere, in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
Well, she
That's
said,
what
I'm not
meant.
playing the radio.
Yeah.
So they're like, what the fuck is that noise? So one of the dudes was like, yo, there's a body, right?
Wow.
Now, this part, your nose and your lips, right?
Yeah.
That was the only part of my face that was able to still hang above the water. And I had some white Air Force Ones, right? And they said they saw that part of my mouth and my toes.
Yeah.
And they were like, a fucking body. Now, the 3 of them, there's 2 dudes and 1 girl. One dude's, about $130, and the other dude's about our size, right?
Okay.
But when they got on the boat, he slipped and fell and hurt his back.
So he's messed
So
up.
now they're going over to me, and then the what's it called, the wake.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get each time they tried to
doing
get
this.
closer, it was pushing me further.
Right.
So the dude that could the bigger dude because the skinnier dude's like, yo, you got to jump in, I can't get him, but he knows he can't, so he jumps in, right? These people, God bless them, man. Oh my God. So he jumps in, right? And they pull me on the boat, right? And like you said, they didn't go the wrong way by accident, right? There's a few things that can be said about, because the girl that was on there happened to be in the nursing.
Oh yeah,
So she knew
got medical
CPR.
training.
She knew CPR
yeah.
because she had to resuscitate me 4 times.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? While when they got me on the boat.
That
So the
is
last
crazy.
thing I remember, right,
That
is
crazy.
the last thing I remember is when they pulled me on the boat, right? I don't remember that part of them trying to get me on the boat.
Yeah, because
You
you're
know,
out of it at this time.
Yeah, I'm going.
In and out, in and out.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
I probably died once or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But I remember when they pulled me on that boat, and I might have died in the water. That's why I don't remember. But when they pulled me, the pain probably woke me up or something, because I remember the one dude. See, they tried to have a baby and they lost their child, right? And he was pissed at me, like, and it is. This is a funny story. He said, "Do you have kids?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "How could you do that to your kids?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Because he doesn't have those problems.
and
He can't
here
wrap
I
his mind
am.
around it,
Here
so.
I am. The last thing I remember is, man, what the fuck? No, it ain't time for questions. Give me a blanket. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, you want some history? Call me tomorrow.
Call
Give
me
me a
tomorrow.
blanket right
Freeze
now. I'm freezing. And they called 911. Coast Guard takes a long time, so they called the state
You probably
troopers.
didn't even freaking believe it, right?
Yeah.
They probably didn't believe it. Like, oh, we found a body. Yeah, right. Prank call.
But then they got tired of waiting for the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
So, and because she had to resuscitate me a couple times, they're like, we don't have time to
You don't
wait.
have time. She knows that you
So
don't have time.
their car was at, like, I think Fort Adams. So they called the state police and said, this is where we're going, and meet us there. And they flew there, and I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
That I'm cold, motherfucker. Get me a blanket is the last thing I remember.
Yeah.
Until I woke up a month later.
1 month later. So you're out of it. You're out of it for a month. You're in the hospital. Rhode Island Hospital?
Yeah. So Newport Hospital doesn't have the.
Yeah, it's not trauma. It's not a trauma.
So
hospital.
they brought me to Rhode Island.
I had to learn that the hard way.
Now, like I said, they went the wrong way by accident, right? So these are things. She knew CPR, right? Mm-hmm. Rhode Island Hospital, right? Now, at this point, my percentage of survival is so low, right? Rhode Island Hospital is the only hospital in New England that has this machine called ECMO, right? And without that machine, I wouldn't be here. So that's one more thing that.
So if they would have shipped you off to, like, say, Boston Medical.
Well, no. If Boston had that and Rhode Island didn't,
then you're in trouble.
I would.
Then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So Rhode Island has what it takes to save your life.
Yep.
It's all these little things.
Yeah, that's why.
It's a lot of, like, just the pure impact alone should have ended you. Then you floating around, messed up. Now let me say, how much injuries did you cause yourself?
Almost every bone in my back I broke. I punctured both lungs. I broke some ribs.
Yeah.
They said this left hand was like just flapping down to my elbow.
Yeah. So many broken bones.
Yep.
Which you
punctured lungs.
Punctured lungs. You got to believe that broken bones. Steve, you swim?
Yeah. Not much.
Can you do it with some broken arms and broken?
No.
Can we bring you under the Newport Bridge and you jump off the boat and we pull off and you just stay there for an hour?
I'll die. I'll die in impact.
How about this? You don't even have to have impact. I just you can get off the boat nice and easy and hang out there for an hour and a half in the water. Can you do that for me?
With a floaty.
No.
The arm floaties. I'll take the arm floaties.
So, like, there's many things here that just don't even make sense.
And see, like, my whole story tonight, right? I kept saying opportunity. When I said, like, a cat with 9 lives, like, miracle. Those are miracles. Those are gifts from God. I am a God-fan person. Somebody might be saying there's no, but I am. And those are gifts. God wanted me.
You don't gotta convince them. You know
what I'm saying?
You
like,
know what happened.
God's like, look, I need you.
You know what makes sense. You know what doesn't make sense.
I got something for you to do. He said he pulled a miracle and I died, He pulled a couple of now his first miracles didn't work.
But let me ask this: it's you're still not clicking, are you? Even after that attempt.
So I was in the hospital a month and a half,
Yeah.
and I went home, right? I went down 120 pounds. I was in a coma for a month, right? Oh, I'm not drinking.
And as a man,
woo,
that we're used to being
Listen,
this. Once you're skinny, that's like calling a girl fat. It's the complete opposite.
So I had a hard time gaining weight all my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I said I was doing that 3A, my body started changing,
Mm-hmm.
right? I looked at my arm, and where my bicep was like I had no muscle. It was like I just had
Bones.
it was like,
Skin.
it was like the skin that's wrapped around a sausage. So
Yeah.
like I had nothing. And I looked at it and cried. And that's another thing. Like, motherfucker, you dying and you worried about how skinny you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's that stuff those are things that get us all in trouble all our life because we're worried about
the wrong things.
the wrong things. That's why I'm bringing those points up.
Right.
So now I go home, right, to my girlfriend again, right? And, there's a lot, and I can't work because I'm all hurt up, right? But we have, we're trying to survive, right? She works hard, man, respect it, makes, she has her children, we're living together, and I can't, right? So when I said I'm like, oh, that bridge, I'm not, no more drinking, I'm not partying. Man, after like a month of being out after the hospital, I went back to my old ways, right?
Always started creeping back.
And now this time, so all my life, it gradually became a rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But now this time, it was like it brought me right back. There was no gradual, right? And I went to prison again, and that's when the court order was. And when
What year did you go to prison?
This was what, 2016, 17?
2017. A couple years later.
So I was court ordered to a drug program, but I still wasn't mentally thinking, oh, good, drug program, I can get some help, right? I'm like, oh, court order, let me do what I'm obligated to do, and then I got to figure something out, right? Mm-hmm. But when I got to this program, big up Amos House, right?
Okay. Amos
in
House.
Providence, man, it has a lot of opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I started seeing some shit, man. Like, because of so many, now, because I'm living in a house where there's urines and stuff, because before that, I had to do Kodak before, and I'm bringing fake urine, you know what I'm saying? But now you can't get away with it. Now you can't get away with it. So, and that helped me because I had been locked up for 9.5 months, and now I'm in this program and I can't. So my head started clearing out. That fog started, you know what I'm saying?
You're starting to get clear thoughts.
And I'm seeing the opportunities now.
Yeah,
now I can
back.
I can see
starting to
them.
recognize. So, what do you think was the pivotal point of positive change? Where was the light bulb? When was that aha light bulb moment? Did you ever have one of those moments?
Well, it wasn't that I had a light bulb moment. It was I surrendered. When I
to your high power, or
I surrendered to opportunity because that standing in line at the shelter, I said, Mark, you're 46 years old, right? You don't even have somebody saying you can come stay on my couch right now, and you gotta sleep in a shelter. How you gonna sleep in a shelter and still walk around with looking good, keeping yourself like that's not. Yeah, so I said, out of all my life being a boss. Some people fearing me, putting in work, right? When I thought all those decisions, right? And they led me to a shelter, a line in a shelter.
That's what, yeah.
Right? So, because I had a clear head, right? I was clean for a while now. I started my recovery in prison. I got certificates, right? Mm-hmm. I said, you know what? You have to give this a shot, Mark. You have to. You have to. Like, you know, and I did. And, man, I started working. And there was a lot of opportunity. And, like, I was like, you know, what's that game where the little hippo, hungry hippos?
Hungry
I'm
Hippo.
trying to scoop all that stuff into me, man. And I'm trying to take it all. And because I had a clear head, you know, I was healthy, you know, it started working, man. It started working. And because they got good people there, you know, there was, and you know, and this is kind of funny, right? So, you know, the people that work there, some of them have that lived experience. So when we started
they
earlier,
came,
right?
Yeah, they came
And
from the.
So when that's so
They didn't learn it from a book.
that helped me surrender because even up to this point, I was still denying addiction, right? To me, an addiction was the people that, you know, would steal their shit off the wall and they had no teeth because they've been
No teeth,
smoking
they all
crack
fucked
so
up,
long.
yeah.
Right? I still had a, you know,
Still look
right?
good,
Yeah.
still dressed good, taking care of yourself a little bit.
But now those people with them no teeth that I used to get their food stamps from and everything, now they got businesses. They're you know, case managers.
Wow.
You know, they got good jobs. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hold on, man. You know, and
Wow.
no disrespect, but in my head, I'm still looking at them like lower. You know, I'm admitting that
Yep.
without saying the name, but I'm saying I still have the mentality that my addiction wasn't their addiction.
Right.
You know,
Right. I ain't
because
doing
I
it.
because
ain't
I
doing particularly
because
good
I
with
had
that.
just got there, so the recovery, you know, there was still a lot to learn. But then, you know, I become to learn that, man, there's people that lose in their lives from gambling. There's, like, you know, sex addicts.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a substance.
You said it
You know
earlier
what I'm saying?
too. The lifestyle's addiction.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
The
it
lifestyle's
is.
definitely addiction.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So there's
Chasing
not a
the money.
problem. There's not a problem bringing a drug dealer to a program that he's never done it because he still has an addiction to drugs. It's not in his body. But it's still making his life unmanageable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I started getting opportunity, man. I started making good decisions. So actually, hold on. You said what was the pivotal part?
The light bulb moment. The turning point. The real
The
true
turning point was when I felt like my kids loved me again.
So how did that happen? That's good. That's
Because-
a good comeback. How
because-
did that happen?
Because
How'd you get them? Did they didn't hate you for trying to take your life?
Because they were living their lives anyways, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, but I wasn't saying, I promise, you know, I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in prison and wrote letters, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I knew that don't work. So I wasn't telling them, you know, just please give me a chance. I gave them the space to see it. You know what I'm saying? So when they did give me love and, you know, compassion again, it was sincere. You know?
Yeah, it
And my
came from the right
daughter, like, she's the one that bought me them 2 pair of pants, and she got me one of them little Old Spice little kits, you know, with the.
Man.
But you know what? That's of work.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Yep.
That was tools on my tool belt that I needed when I was walking around with that backpack.
Did I tell you what made me say I need you here? Did I tell you what it was?
That need me, Mark Gonsalves?
Why I needed Mark here today on this show. Did I tell you what it was?
No.
So we were sitting here talking originally, and I asked you to be part of a production film that I'm producing, and that was my only intent. That's it. Not to have you here for this show right here.
Oh.
For me, the minute you said to me you were repairing your relationship with Jamal, right?
Yep.
And you wanted to be a part of his life, and you would do whatever it takes. This is the key thing that you said to me.
Yep.
Let me tell you.
I know what you.
You said, I will shine your shoes if that's what it'll take. I will do whatever it's. So in your mind, the lowest thing you can think of, the most humbling thing that you can do for your son, you were willing to show him, like, I don't care what it is. this is what I want to do. I want to be there for you. I'm sorry, son. I wasn't there.
No,
I made
I
the
was
wrong
doing
decisions, and this is what I'm doing now. I'm showing you I'm making the right decisions. I want to do whatever it takes.
So I felt the love because I was showing improvement. So
Yeah.
like my daughter, right? She worked at Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
So I would like I can't say, oh, I'm doing good now. On your one day off, let's go to right? I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, all right, how am I gonna, build these relationships back? So at Dunkin' Donuts, I'd catch the bus down to Middletown, right? And go sit in Dunkin' Donuts for 2-3 hours. And, she'd come out sometimes, and sit. Or if she's just back there making coffees and we're talking. That was my bonding time with her, right? Then
you were seizing their moments. You were grabbing the opportunities.
And then my oldest son, we started playing chess together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's a man. So it was easier. And then Jamal, he started racing, right? And I was going. Yeah. He
good kid.
Great kid. Worked hard, man. Never been in trouble with the law.
How about his love life? Is he a chip off the old block like his dad? He's messing around with a lot of
men? Nah. 15 years old. His first girlfriend is still his girlfriend.
Still his girlfriend.
So high school sweethearts, bro. 9 years they've been together. He was 15 and she was younger.
So you got your youngest son, who is making.
He had a good job.
He's making it a point to not take the same road that you took.
I want to ask him. Right? I want to ask him how he learned to be a good man, because he didn't get it all from me, unless he got it from the bad from me, because he is a good young man, man. He works hard, right? And then he saves money, right? Without no one telling him how to do it, right? And he buys some toys and then still goes to work, right? And that's what he was doing.
Let me ask you, where's Jamal? Where's Jamal right now?
He's in the hospital, man.
So he obviously is going through some stuff right now, right?
Yeah.
So
I want to real quick though. I want to the bond where my bond with Jamal came back, because I was getting better with everyone else, right? And he had his races, right? And he'd pack up his truck all by himself,
Tell me about.
So I started going with him.
What's the first most memorable race for you for him?
I started going to his races.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to.
If you only had one story you could tell somebody, give me one story about his
racing.
Racing, yeah. Give me a story.
The first race I went to, right?
Yeah.
He had his first crash and got knocked out. Well, I don't know if it was first crash, but he first time he was knocked out.
Oh man!
Like
evil messed up.
100-foot jump. He hits the ground. He's knocked out.
Oh my God!
I grabbed the fence. I'm getting. They're like, nah, because bikes are still flying by.
You're gonna hurt somebody in yourself.
They don't stop the race. There's a yellow flag, caution. Go around that dude laying on the track.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah,
especially
man.
for a dad that's doing the right thing. Finally got a relationship with your son. That's
and plus I don't give. Well, even when I was doing the wrong thing,
right.
I could see enough to protect my. You know what I'm saying?
Right. As a man, right?
Yeah. So I went to, and they were like, no. Anyways, long story short, that was. He got up, and I was like, all right, you want me to start packing up the truck? He said, nah, I still got how many races? I said, it's a little tough, motherfucker. What the fuck? Hell no, man. I want to see, they got 100-foot tape measure, right? I want, anyone listening, man, measure out 100 feet.
100 feet, 100
right?
feet, yeah.
And then do the science of math of how high you have to be to make it to that 100 feet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's that, about a telephone pole, right? I think.
Ooh, you gotta be like 20 feet. I mean, I just should guess, but
yeah.
And man, so with his races, I just wanted to help. I told him, I said, Jamal, I said, man, like you said, I said, I was so proud of him. I just wanted to, anything I could do to make it easier, because I was like, he worked so hard.
To be.
I was like, damn. I was like, Jamal, what can I do for you to make it easier? Because he's doing it. He was doing it all by himself and making it look, and he's making it look easy.
He's doing it.
And even if he was tired, he won't let you know. You can't tell. Right.
It's tough cooking.
Yeah, man. So, and then I'm not as mechanically inclined, so he was like, don't touch my bike. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't touch. Yo, because I tried to power wash it one time and broke the power washer. He was like, you broke the power washer. You damn sure ain't touching my bike. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I told her, I said, look, I cleaned off his helmet. I'm like, all right, there might be an ounce of mud on it. It might make his weight low. Anything I was doing.
Anything that can help.
Off his boots, I was like, all right, make sure they're clean. I hung his gear. I brushed it up. Anything.
Treat him like the professional he was.
I told him, man, you could. I said, I'm giving you the green light to be a dick to me if that's how you have to say it for me to do something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue no matter what you say until we get in the car to go home.
Right.
And
you didn't want to mess nothing up for him.
Whatever
his routine was, you just wanted to help out.
Because actually, the pivotal point was he called. Like I was always calling him to ask him, "You racing?" But he called me.
Wow. And you reckon that happened and it got you.
That's when I felt like,
there's a chance.
A father.
A father.
I'm
fill your shoes the right way.
That's when, in my mind, all I got to do is keep doing what I'm doing. And that's why I still haven't went backwards as far as an intentional decision. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're not doing the drugs. You're not.
I still have some struggles. Like just because
you're not perfect.
Well, no. The thing is, just because I decide to clean myself up, there's still things from back then that is gonna affect me now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like your body and your mind. Staying up. 3 nights a week, you know what I'm saying, drinking and doing lines and stuff like that.
It's catching up to you.
They say you need 6 hours of sleep. You need so much water. This is what the average, So, but when he would call me, that made I was like, because before that. Before I went to, I cleaned my life up, like, he called me dad, pop, and, but he was a man. He didn't need me. And because he was my youngest, and by his birth, that's when I lost the control. So I never really got a chance to be the best father for him. Until, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was the only time in his life that every decision I made, was with fatherly intentions. Like, I didn't make no selfish decisions where I could have been a father or I could have did this, and I chose to do it. No, everything. So
everything was about him.
Yeah.
That's a blessing right there.
And I had to, like with my daughter, like I said, I can't expect her because all growing up, I chose to, hang out all night. So now in the morning, I'm just letting them go outside when I could have took, I can't say now that I'm clean. Oh, you got a day off. I'm your father. Let's spend some time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's why I sacrifice. That's why I said I'll sit in Dunkin' Donuts. I said, give me the scraps. Whatever you got left, can I have that, please? I want to try to be the father. You know, and
You're not trying you out, brother. So,
yeah.
So you got you're there now. So now you're there. We're there to the good stuff. Now we're at the good stuff.
Man.
You're having success. You're having some success with being a dad. Your personal life. You're back to work.
Yeah.
You're working.
This is where the title, hope. This is very important for everyone struggling. Anyone listening, or whether it's them struggling or they tell a story that a friend or family member that's struggling, hope. Because a lot of people at 46 years old with 2 pair of pants and $200 would say, the only thing I know is this other thing. That's the only way I was able to stay above water before. Because I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? But it's not true. So anyone listening, please give it a shot. If you're getting an opportunity, take that motherfucker. Like, I'm grateful that I got so many opportunities. So this whole, interview, I've been trying to highlight every time I felt a high opportunity in my life. You notice I said it. I was saying it every time.
Points and stuff. Right.
Because did you keep track of how many? I had a lot. So I'm damn so
blessed.
But you know what also helps with? Someone said, "Mark, you're here for a reason." So finally in my life,
you embracing it?
I felt like I mattered.
Are you embracing it?
I'm embracing it, brother. I'm trying to share it.
What type of programs did you get yourself involved in? Like what type of you do community activism? What are you doing right now?
The first thing I did with my I started volunteering. I was giving, just like I with my children.
Right.
I was giving. What, the certification?
No. Just like what type of programs would you like? So wanted to be around. And you was rebranding yourself. What was you doing?
The soup kitchen, the Amos House shelter.
You went back to where they helped you out.
Well, I volunteered.
Yeah.
I asked to volunteer. When I started, I asked, and they were like, "Oh, we got a lot of people, right?" And I was like, "Nah, hell no, I'm getting in here some kind of way."
Right.
Because I seen everyone that worked there almost had started low. So I'm like, hell, I got to get my foot in. So somebody was taking trays one day, right? And I had already asked one of the bosses if I can, and they didn't need me. So I told the person taking trays, I said, yo, go take a break, man. You smoke a cigarette. I'm going to do this for a minute. And I just started doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'd see napkins on the ground, and stuff. I'd grab them. And I just started doing it.
Anyway,
volunteering.
You can help out.
And then I got behind the line. And I want to say this, man. Gratitude, because some people would come in. It'd be 20 degrees outside. It rained. That rain, slushy snow. There's people that sleep in that.
They're out there.
Right?
Yeah.
And
there's tent cities all over around right now.
Some of them don't have the tents.
They don't have that.
And they come in, right? And their backpack's wet. They're asking for plastic bags and, to put the little bit of stuff they got in that, to keep it dry, so when the rain stops and they walk in, they're like, okay, now I can put something dry in. But they come in and they say, Chef Doug, Chef Mike, Mark, oh my God, thank you for this food. And I was now I had made it to a sober house, and I'm like, damn, how the fuck did motherfucker come here wet in 20-degree weather, and he happier than me?
Happy.
Right?
Grateful.
So I was seeing, I was seeing, and I was
readjusting.
I was acknowledging it, because then I'm telling myself, Mark, stop. You don't need a king-size bed right now. Be happy in that twin. Work in that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I got.
Allow that to give you the
I got some pants. I was 260, right? But I didn't have the money to buy a bunch of new clothes, and I had nothing when I came home. So I had to get clothes from clothing collaborators. I got a pair of jeans one time, and they were almost bell bottoms, and I I had to wear them or wear the other ones all week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? and I started saying, "Fuck it," you know, I'll do it. I
Trying to
didn't.
humble yourself.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to, look the best. I just was trying to work. I was trying to give back. I was trying to stay busy.
Trying to do your best, not look the
Yeah.
best.
With the kids, every night, telling them I love them, good night, I was like, the rest of this time on this earth, I want to make good decisions, and I don't care where I get to. You know what I'm saying? As long as I can wake up breathing, you know what I'm saying, and
Have another day.
I've woken up cold, but I'm just that. So when I pray, right, I pray every night. I started, in prison, right, from one of these little sheets that had a prayer on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I started using that when I'd have times when like a 19-year-old CO would tell me to go sit and I'm like, man, I'll knock this motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? And I had, you know them times when sometimes you gotta let some shit slide, right? And no, that's what I use that prayer for.
Yeah.
No bullshit. I go in there and read that to myself.
Yeah.
And I started reading it. I found myself that time. My life was still so. I read that thing so many times a day. I learned it. So now when I'm like, shit, man, them prayers is working. So I'm praying every night, right? And I'm not saying, God, please. That job I applied for, it pays more than this one. Help me get that so I can buy a car. I'm not doing that. I'm praying and saying, God, I'm not. You don't have to give me anything. I just want to take the time out to say thank you for what you have given me, what you've already given me. That gratitude. You know what I'm saying? I started living that.
It's a game changer right there.
Yeah, man.
Know that.
Yeah.
Being grateful.
Because. Yeah.
For where you're at, where you came from, what you lived through.
Because, like I said,
and have another day.
That's that pride and Because
when
I jumped,
you know it. When
I jumped because
really
I said I had to jump.
Yeah.
There was parts of the story where I was making decisions because of images and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front. I still want to look nice. I do.
It's in your DNA.
I mean, I could buy some cheaper shit and still, but but that's part of. I'm still having a little defect.
I wouldn't call it.
It's not a defect.
I wouldn't call it defect, man.
I haven't learned enough.
Well, for me, from an outsider, right? From outside perspective, for me. Taking care, wanting good stuff for you, or being able to achieve to have good stuff for you, that's not a defect. Just to look clean, to look good. This is why I used to have a motto. We used to own a gym right down the street from here in Lincoln. Me and my two brothers. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, good things happen. And that was my sales pitch, if you will, to help people promote a healthier lifestyle of living, and that was eating. What you watch, what you listen to, how you speak, everything came into play, and it all had a purpose at the gym. We own a gym, not a motivational place, not a health. It was just a gym, but that was the philosophy in it. That was what we learned then. So, you have a right to look good. You have a right to feel good. As a person, you have a right.
I want to point something out too, right? One of the things that helped me in the recovery process of my life, right, was, and people listening, you guys listen, women too, and maybe because I still have that little bit of, worried about the image, right? I didn't have a girlfriend, so I didn't try to talk to no girls like that, really. You know what I'm saying? I still wanted to, have some intimate. I wanted someone to be, but and like I said, maybe it's because of the image, but whatever it was, it worked because I was like, man, I ain't trying to. I'm 40. I'm in my late 40s. I want a woman, right? And what woman gonna say, okay, I know you live in that sober house, and I'm not allowed in your room. You don't got a car. Catch that 20 bus downtown. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm trying to have something to put on the plate. So I sacrificed that. because I see relationships, and they taught us that in my recovery. You know what I'm saying? They can affect your recovery because you're still worried about, you're still worried about her, or she's still worried about him. There's a point where, like, it's just like right now, right? I can't help every person that's an addict and stuff, right? Sometimes you can't help everyone, right?
Right.
So,
can't save everyone, they say.
Yeah.
Can't
So
save
that's a time when you have to make the decision. Say, look, I know we both need to be saved, but fuck, I either gotta save her and I'm gone, or I gotta save myself, and then hopefully she held on and I can save her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you both can't try to save each other at the same time because you're suffering from the same shit. You know what I'm saying? And you're both at the weak moments, right? So you gotta be around somebody that's not. You know what I'm saying? And if you're always trying to be around each other, you're not giving yourself every opportunity. You're not surrendering. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to give up everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't trying to go to Newport really, like, because I still love all the people that some of them are,
Still
but they
doing the
have,
wrong things
they,
or whatever.
well, no. They could do some of the things and still be responsible. So they didn't. Their lives wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I hung around them,
indirectly, it could be a trigger for you also. So
that's what I was gonna say. If I hung around, I knew I'm different.
Until you got that armor on, until you got that shield on, your belt on, until you got that protection on, and you stand.
Well, the thing is, right? So I go to detox centers and stuff like that and share my story, right? But so for 30 plus years, right? Like I said, 46 years old was how old I was when it was like being reborn, right?
Right.
But I started when I was 15.
I wouldn't use that word like anymore. I would say when I was reborn.
Yeah. Yo, I started when I was 15 though.
Yeah.
Like, with the first substance, right?
Okay.
Trauma started before that, but a decision I made that was, bad for me was when I was 15. So for 31 years, right?
Yeah.
I made those decisions. I was impulsive, whatever, right? So now, January 4th just made 4 years clean for me, right? No drugs, no alcohol, right?
Congratulations.
And not only that, my decisions, because that's the part of recovery too. Like, just because you're not putting a substance in you, if you're still, making decisions that you're not applying, things to your life. You know what I'm saying? You're still not giving it at all. You're all. So you're wasting your time, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not get lucky and be able to do something and still, So, yeah, damn, I just kind of lost my.
Well,
but
you're heading to the positive. So where we're at is what is it that you're doing right now, and what is your goal? What is your goal as a dad, right? As a dad, what is your goal right now? Today, tomorrow. What is your goal right now?
Like the proof that because I surrendered, right? The proof that this shit is working, right? And anybody that knows me, right? And you could have been that person that said, you ain't sleeping on my couch, right? And now you see how good I'm doing, right? So my daughter right now is able to live with me rent-free.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. And, like I'm able to do that.
You're able to do
so,
something.
So that's keeping me going too, man. That's the biggest rewards. So all those images, like, a big diamond necklace, that's my jewels right there. You know what I'm saying? And I started, that's what's making my life.
Man, you got t-shirt slogans, you know that, right?
You know what I'm saying?
You got t-shirts, you got stuff that if I was like your manager, your producer or something, like your agent or something, I'd be telling you, I would have recorded the voice and I'd be slapping these sayings that you have because they're very motivational, very uplifting, and they're upfront and personal where people are going to pay attention. you have that quality about you, brother. And my
one-
hats are off to you, man.
The one thing, thank you, and you too, brother.
Ah.
Because just because it's I'm like the
We're here to
topic
build each other,
tonight,
right?
but
Yeah.
you too, man.
We're here to build each other up, man.
But like the one thing, the thing that I say, right, that is, and it's so simple, right? Like life is, I can't believe how it's really kind of easy to live this life I'm living. All you got to do is just chill out, relax. Don't worry about all that fast shit, right? It's going so. You ever see Colors? The two cop. They got the bull and the cow. Yeah. And he said, let's run down there and fuck all them cows. And the father's like, no, let's walk down there. And, so, yeah. So then it just. Those are my rewards. My being able to do something like that. Because those are the things that. So, just giving a nut and a woman or whatever, that's not being a father. You know what I'm saying? Buying him some Jordans, on his birthday, that helps, but that's not being a father. Like. Getting them the shiniest bike on the, in the hood, that's not being a father. You know what I'm saying? It's those things that are free, that are inside, that affect them. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of their lives, because they're not. They what you're giving them is when them sneakers don't fit, they still have it. You know what I'm saying? When they're wearing this, you know what I'm saying? So. To me, right now, to be able to, help my daughter like that, not that she needed, she worked, but I said, hey, come stay with me for free. And, man, I walk around, I'm like gloating, man. It's like, it's a beautiful feeling. And my shit is clean.
You're glowing.
I've looked around my apartment and cried because it's so beautiful.
Well, you were able to achieve something that you never thought you was going to achieve again, right? You're able to keep moving forward. You're not settling. You're still pushing forward. You're still, searching and striving for things. Those are good qualities to have right there, And the most important thing is you're striving to be the best dad you possibly can be, and that's the ultimate message for me today. This day forward, every day it makes a new day, but every day is that day. You're being the best dad you could possibly be right now.
I was trying to get at this earlier and a little bit and got off track, right? So the thing that is, you could say all these things help, right?
Yeah.
But if you can only take one, right?
Okay.
So if you have 5 things that have helped you to get here, and someone says choose, and you're like, damn.
How to choose one,
right? The one thing that I would choose is, so when someone says, Mark, how you doing today, right? Mm-hmm. I've accepted that could be better, but it could be worse. You know what I'm saying?
I came up with my own
Could
thing.
be better, could be worse.
We as human individuals, right? We can get trapped in the moment. We can get trapped in the moment very easy, right? The devil's the lie, right? So we can get trapped in the moment very easy. And for a little while, I was starting to go back down this dark path and getting trapped into the negative energy and the negative output and all the bad stuff, right? And a light bulb went off in my head a couple months ago again. Multiple times throughout my life, I've had these moments, these aha epiphany, like, okay, so again, it happened only 2 months ago, and people would ask, hey, how you doing? And me, I'm an honest, at least I try to be as honest as possible with myself. I speak with my words. I consider myself a poet. I take words as the ultimate, the ultimate everything, right? Words are the ultimate everything. So I started saying this, and people say, hey, how you doing? I'd be like, I'm outstanding. Sometimes amazing, but I'm always grateful.
I like that.
That's where I'm at now, and that's all I could give, because I need to be grateful because
That's a shirt. That's a shirt where the front and back saying both things, right?
Yeah.
One of them is better, but if you only see one, it's the best.
Right.
But then you see the other one, so like
That's
that's
where I'm at
gratitude.
now.
That
The gratitude, right.
The definition that like the yeah.
A couple
So
months
we're
ago,
seeing the same thing. Man, I'm glad.
Listen, a few months ago, so I let it out a little bit, and I'll let it out more as time goes on, throughout this podcast in the future. But a few months ago, I told you I hit some dark places. I kept, and they creep in, and you don't even realize they're creeping in because you get trapped in those moments. And I jumped in the truck, drove as fast as I could to get, and I ended up at the water. Why does it always end up at I don't guys like I ended up at the water. For me, I it's for other reasons, right? So, my nephew was in the truck. My nephew was in the truck, and I didn't know he was in the truck. And I stopped the car. I stopped my truck. I jumped out of the truck. As I was going over to the lake to jump in the lake, my nephew got out of the truck.
See?
What do you even do? This kid's 6'6".
That's like that. They wanted to go on the Jamestown Bridge and went to the Newport. That's that same kind of thing in your story.
So a couple months ago, I realized I had to stop. I had to stop getting trapped in these dark thoughts. Stop allowing myself to get tricked, in these negative thoughts. And that's where that, the next day, somebody asked me how I was doing, and I went to go tell them what happened, and I kept it to myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing outstanding. I got past it. Sometimes I'm doing amazing, but I'm always grateful.
So like how I said, I'm able to help my daughter like that, right? Now, because of the injustice, what happened with my son, and legally I can't really talk about.
Right, we couldn't. So for the audience right now, let me put a disclaimer out there for the audience right now.
We could talk about.
So there was an accident that happened back in October.
No, it wasn't an accident.
Well, there was an. Yeah, you're right, because it was an incident. You're right. Thank you for correcting me. You are absolutely right.
That was not an accident.
You're right. It's not an accident. Accidents have no control. They just happen.
Yeah, man.
An incident that happened. Thank you, Steve. The incident that happened. Your son was hit while he was on his scooter, trying to help out other kids in the neighborhood, and because he's a professional rider, he's good at riding. He was in the back of he was the tail end of a group of kids that were out on their bikes and stuff, and the city officials at that time deemed it necessary to push him off his bike with their car. I mean, that's what I seen with my own perspective, with my own eyes. How accurate that is, that's just what I seen. That's what I remember. And at this moment in time, he's unable to take care of himself. He's still in a bad place.
That's what I was getting ready to get at.
Yeah, he's unable to take care of himself. He's still in a bad place, and he's not able to go to work, wake up, take care of his girl, his home, or do the things that normally make us human beings. He's not able to do stuff like that. Right?
And this is a time when I want to get the mud off his motocross boots again. I want to be there, because it's one of those times in a life when a man, is a man, right? And he's like, all right, I have to let this person help me. You know what I'm saying? And Jamal before this, he could do anything he wanted. But now so I want to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was supposed to go to Florida, but then I found out he's coming home. But, and he's not coming home easy. He's going to
need help, assistance.
Yeah.
You and I both know what that's like to be incapacitated, not be able to take care of yourself.
But because that's helping me again with my recovery, because now I see I got all them opportunities. Now I'm taking advantage of that, because I'm like, all right, I got so many chances, and I'm not gonna get another chance. This is a chance for me to be You know, even so, this is a
You're not
chance.
taking it for
Like your
granted.
shirt, what you just said. What'd you say? Perfect. When someone said, "How you doing?" You
How
said,
you doing? Yeah.
So
Outstanding.
how I thought helping him at the motocross track was like, you know, finally, you know, proving, you know, when he called, like, now this is even to me, this is even more than that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a Jesus moment. You know that? Like
Yeah,
I just had this image in my head. I remember the story from the Bible. You know, I don't have a really good retaining memory, but
Yeah.
I do. Obviously, I can function. I'm having
Yeah.
conversation.
No,
I
I
remember
get what you're
stories,
saying.
right? But in the Bible, so in the Bible, I remember a story about Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. Where here he is, this
Yeah.
man. He's the king. He's the all, the end
Yeah.
all, be all, the alpha, the omega. He is that one, and he humbled himself and washed the feet of his disciples, and that, and I'm sure there's a way to translate that because that's how I'm hearing it right now. You know, you are willing to humble yourself, you know, and wash those, you know, get that mud off your son's boots, and that can be metaphorically taken right now
Yeah.
because of this people trying to throw dirt on his name when this kid is clean as a whistle, if you ask me, you know, and who am I, right? I'm just a guy that's been, you know, lived life and made right decisions, wrong decisions, you know, but here you are, you know, from what I know, black and white, a kid that's never been in trouble, um, is in love and has been with his high school sweetheart for many years.
Since he was 15.
Since he was 15 years old, right? Here he is, supporting himself, found his passion, doing something that 90% of America does not do. Found his passion and is making a living with it, supplying a life, you know, getting a home
got
and things of
engaged.
nature, got engaged.
Before she got him pregnant, you know.
And now,
like,
and he's in a position now where he can't even do none of these
now
things.
he has to wait
Because of the acts
And-
of other people, because of
Yeah.
the decision making of a group of people. Right, I'm trying not to, you know,
Yeah.
throw
Yeah.
dirt on it, right, and not try to hurt anybody right now. So, because of decision making of a group of people, they took it upon themselves, and your son was
But you know what?
injured.
You know what? Like, for me to get through the days, right? Like about this. So, if you drive around Providence, right?
Mhm.
When you see like candles and little pints and stuff around the poles and stuff,
Mhm.
what's that mean?
I mean, someone's, you know, dead. They're hurt.
Someone's gone,
They're
right?
gone. They lost themselves.
So the one of the biggest things that's keeping me from not going fucking crazy right now,
Right.
because you know it's hard, right? And it could be so easy for me to just go crazy, but then how long is that gonna last? Where's it gonna lead me, right?
Right.
So I keep telling myself, and this is gratitude again, that's why what's helping me the most is understanding some things in life like that. So he wakes up breathing, right?
Right.
He's got a fighting chance. So when someone asks me that's a hard question to really ask me, being his father. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for me to answer it without like
Losing it.
like, you know, because someone asked me innocently, like you know, you'd be like, "Yo, how's your son?"
How's your son?
But
Yeah.
so many people ask me, and I want to be like, "How the fuck you think he is?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's this is where he's at right now, and this is where he was.
This is where he was.
You know,
This
so
is
until
his
he,
life now. This
so
is his story.
to me, to really answer that question is when he gets back to that, he's doing right. But you know, so I keep telling myself he's gonna get there, and he's got a chance. I just gotta accept the slow process,
Right.
you know, or whatever speed it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Godspeed be with you.
Right.
You and your family. You know,
Yeah.
you have an amazing story. You know, one that needs to be heard. You know, one that needs to be heard. You know, I'm hoping they're paying attention. You know, it's a blessing to have you as the first guest.
it's an honor.
You know,
I didn't know that.
It's a blessing. You know, I've had history, you know. I've Bucket of Joe. I've won 5 awards. I've got to do some stuff that that I never thought I could ever do. But when I had the opportunity, Steve's other partner, Jason Brady, called me up and said, Jay, I sat there picking his brain because I thought about doing a podcast. I thought about I had this idea about
I thought about it, yeah.
And so I went over there and bought a mixer. I went to buy a mixer off of him, and I gave him $100 for a mixer. And I leave, and a couple hours later, he sends me a message. He's like, "Listen, Jay, man, I think I ran the course with the podcast because I think he recently lost his mom at that time, and he was going through some things, and he decided to make different changes with himself within himself.
Yeah.
So he's like, Jay, make me an offer, buy the whole studio. I was like, dude, I'm not the type of guy that's gonna insult you, man. Whatever you say, I'm willing to pay for it. Just give me some time, and I'll give you all the money. And I gave him all the money, and as you can see, here's the studio, and that's how that worked for me,
And me.
What do you call that when you take a player from another team?
Oh,
drafted.
Steal.
Yeah.
Steal? Hey, I don't steal, bro. I don't steal.
No, I'm a steal.
It would be decent.
What's that?
If we getting some like, I didn't know I was coming to this tonight.
Yeah.
Like man, it's got me so energetic. I don't even know what the fuck time it is. It feels like it's about 5, 6 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to know what time it is.
Because this is what, like, I'm not talking about. And when I lose track of time when I start.
Right.
Because there's so many blessings and so much I want to share for somebody else so they can reap these blessings, right?
Definitely, you can come on back and do some more shows.
Yeah, man, I'm down, but this is beautiful, man.
Mark, man, I appreciate it, man. There's nothing more humbling, right, to sit there and listen to another man's story that's been through some stuff, right, and they've been through some stuff, and you see that they're pushing forward and they have something to offer. They have the hope. They have the they have faith inside themselves, and they're humble and they're grateful for where they're at. You could be anywhere right now, brother, and you're here with us sharing your story. It's not the world's business what's going on in your life, and you're taking it to a point where you humble yourself and you allow people into your life, into your discretions, into the bad stuff. You're allowing people to take a look into your soul and what makes you you, and you're saying, all right, world, here I am, accept me for who I am. Brother, that's to be admired, man. Not everybody can do that. People can't just come out here, sit on a microphone, and speak from their heart and be accepted. And it just doesn't happen. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And you're doing that right now, and you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it because you have ambition to be the best dad you can be, and that's ultimately what it is. And that's how you got here. For me.
And remember earlier, like when we was talking, Steve, even and when we were growing up in the hood and stuff, they were all our dads, right? Mm-hmm. So being the best dad I could be, like, I'm hoping I'm hoping at least I was getting ready to say it would be nice to have some, like, a live way for people to
next
time
we'll do that.
But
they're making comments
because I'm so excited to if I knew if we could just one person at least, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, at least one person, can it's just like my son's recovery. It's a slow process. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now we all just got to have some acceptance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Acceptance. We have to just accept it for what it is sometimes. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a beautiful thing, man. Like, I'm glad.
Thank you for coming, man.
Yeah. So when I came over the other night, right? And then you sent me that video, right?
Right.
Yo, I watched that video. And that was a long ass video. Like, I don't have the attention. No, for real. No, I don't have the attention.
Listen,
when my story came out in the Providence Journal, it took like a week for me to actually read the whole story.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it because
Sit
it's
down,
my life, but yo, I couldn't get up from I couldn't stop your story. And I had started a good movie. I'm like, damn, right? And
You wasn't expecting how long it was? Did it catch you off guard?
It was so, I felt it. The connection, it connected to me so much, right?
Yeah.
How long was that damn text? I started texting you because you inspired me, bro. Yo, it was so abstract and so artistic, and just I seen so many messages. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn. And see, that's what helped me when I came home.
Those type of things.
Yeah.
We are making a pot too, and I asked you to be in it, and you accepted. You accepted my invite. So, the next film has a completely different direction. I'm headed in. I'm taking the keys that I learned in that film, and I'm transferring over to this film, but this time, we're searching for that, that inspiration, that gratitude, that humbleness, to let people know, peer into our life, right? Here we are. We're not perfect. We've made mistakes, but we're not willing to give up, and we're willing to push forward and do the best we can, and hopefully someone else can learn from that, and hopefully someone else can see from that this is real, and this is who we are, and you don't have to make those same mistakes, or hopefully they can have some type of relation. All right, you're not the only one going through that, because there's other people going through things. The people go through all types of things. Everybody's going through something in this world. Everybody, especially today's day and age, post COVID-19, everybody's going through something.
And we also have to have the empathy and compassion to not judge what they're going through. Basically, right. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, "Oh, they man, I do that with my eyes closed," right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Steve, when the other night when he got me so inspired, right? I text him. I'm like, "Yo, he just asked me for a podcast. I already got a book thought of, a fiction book that I said." With a sequel to a movie, no bullshit.
With a part 3.
He's not lying.
I took his life and my life and compared it and turned it to fiction. So it's not like autobiography.
Bestseller and a blockbuster.
Yeah, well, he was adding facts with the fictions to keep it,
Well, because we didn't grow up together, but you take our two lives together, that's a
marry each
lot of shit for a good movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
And they marry each other, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
And I was like, damn, a book, I was a movie. I said, yo, you could do a play. You know what I'm saying?
It's facts, man.
Yeah.
That's all the young kids say.
He's like, hold on, man. I got to finish this, man.
You got to finish the one project at a time.
But hey, all you guys listening, just know that this is a grind, and this is expect some stuff.
Well,
this brother. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
This is you taking your time to do this with the intentions of helping someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not doing something, like, even though I was just saying about book and all that, but you're not doing a podcast and then, like, oh, how can I make some money from it? You know what I'm saying? Right. You took money, you have an overhead that you're not gonna get back in a material. You know what I'm saying? The getting back to you is what I understand now, is seeing how it helps someone else, man. Right. And that's what's gonna make this world so much better, man.
Well, as time for me, I'm 16 years, 2005. What's that?
I thought you were gonna say you were 16. I was lying, motherfucker.
We all believe it.
No, so I'm on that journey that you're at right now. Your journey started 2015. Mine started 10 years earlier, 2005. Right, yours started 15.
No, it started 16.
No,
the 15 is when I jumped.
That's what I'm talking about, right there. So that jumping point, that's for me. 2005 is when I crashed. So when you went through what you went through, that spiritual journey of the miracle of you still being here. It's a miracle that multiple miracles happen. Any one of those things, you're done, right? I have my multiple miracles that happened to me. chopping my body in half, going through a sign, smashing through a boulder. If the sign saved my life. Literally getting chopped in half saved my life, because if I didn't get chopped, then my body would have filled up with blood and I would have died. But because I got ripped open, the blood had somewhere to go, which gave me the time I needed to get med-flighted out to Boston Medical, where I flatlined 3 times. So, things of that nature. And then my mother not being able to speak on my behalf, my younger brother had to speak on my behalf, and my younger brother gave them permission to do certain things that my mother wouldn't give them permission to do. So there was like certain things that were falling in place for me to be here to have a conversation with you. So we are, although our stories are different, they marry each other 100%.
Because right now you saying getting chopped in half saved your life, right? Jumping off the Newport Bridge saved my life.
Of course.
And what's crazy is it didn't happen until I surrendered, because after that, I was in the hospital, tubes in my ass, tubes in my lungs, tubes in different parts of my throat and through my mouth, through my trach, and I still went back to the old way. You know what I'm saying? What really did
my friend Rocky got shot in my house on my anniversary to my accident 1 year later. A friend of mine was shot. Like, I go to the club, I'm still living the wrong way. I'm still thinking, I'm still holding on to certain parts of me that, I'm so... Yeah. I came home from the hospital. I went into the hospital at 240 pounds. I came home from the hospital 140 pounds. So...
I'm 120.
So, when you speak, I'm telling you, mirror image.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
1 year anniversary to the accident, I'm going to a freaking nightclub in my wheelchair. Right? And I got all these women around me. I'm going to the nightclub. I got no business being in a nightclub. I go to the nightclub in my wheelchair, go back to my house. I have strangers in my house. None of the people that I truly call my friends, none of the people that even my family members. I had strangers all surrounding me. And then one of my childhood friends shows up and he gets shot at my house. And here I am. I'm the protector. I'm the guy that you don't want to mess with. And I can't even get to the guy. I'm trying to get to the guy who's doing the shoot. I'm going after the shooter. I got no business going after no shooter. Good. He saved my life that night right there. Because if I would have got the bullets, they were meant for me. He got shot. So, I say all that to say this. I'm only 10 years. I'm 10 years on this journey that we're both on. Mm-hmm. Where synchronity. We're traveling totally different, same exact path. Same exact destination, it's 2 different paths, right? Yeah. So you're on your path, I'm on my path, and we're traveling, brother. So I'm only 10 years into my journey, into whatever ahead of you. That's it. I'm 15, you're 5 years in, 16 years, you're 6 years in, however it is right now, 2021. So, I appreciate sitting here. I appreciate sitting here listening to your story. I appreciate you humbling yourself and allowing people to hear your story, because I'm telling you right now, more times than a little bit in the past 16 years, when people got to hear the story and they sat there and listened, and then they wait until this starts happening to you. I tell you that right now. I don't know if it started happening to you or not. When they start thanking you for saving their life. And I'm like, no, don't thank me. No. This is how I say it. Don't thank me. Thank God. Thank yourself, because you made the decision to not kill yourself or make this decision. You made that decision, right? You're listening to my story and it inspired you. I'm glad. That's the whole point of it, but it's not my story. For me, instantly give that glory to God. You're gonna give it to anybody, give it to God. Don't give it to me, because if it was up to me, I would have done the wrong things. I would have made. I would have chased the money and chased the dreams and killed somebody or chased the drugs or whatever. I would have did all the wrong things. It's just what it is. So I tell people that often, man. Just give yourself the credit. And if you're paying attention, me, I'm a God-fearing man. Give that credit to where it belongs.
So we talked a lot about how to get there, right?
Right.
In different ways.
Yeah.
We shared of how to get to a good point and let you know that it's very possible if you give it opportunity. But, so before, I want to leave at least one suggestion of what to look out for. You know what I'm saying? That could totally take it all right out, snatch it, is complacency. Complacency. So I can't say right now that, so somebody on Facebook when I posted something and somebody commented, "Aren't you an addict?"
Wow.
And it didn't bother me
Yeah.
because I am an addict.
Right.
I'm a recovering addict. You know, I gotta accept that. I gotta acknowledge that because the second I say I'm not is when I think I could do those old things again.
Right. And
you know what I'm saying?
You can handle it.
Because my daughter was like, he ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because she sees you for you.
Yeah.
And that's not, she's looking into your soul. She's your daughter. Unconditional love. She knows your soul. So, you know, but you know what your defaults are. You know where your, you know.
But the thing is, accept the bad things in your life to help the good things. That's like what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So everything in your, you know, that's one of them, that's kind of what that could be better, could be worse. Take everything in your life that has happened bad, I guarantee you there's at least one good part of it. Mm-hmm. I don't care if
something good came out of it.
Yeah, I don't care what happened to you. There's at least one good part of it, man. Mm-hmm. You know, it's crazy. You know, yeah, man. This is a blessing. What the hell time is it?
Hey,
You're not supposed to look at the time until I tell you.
Woo!
Well, that's our cue. You know, I just realized that I don't have a take us home type of poetry music or something.
We'll work on that. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you.
Forgive the show. Tonight. It's our first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please tune back in. We're gonna touch on topics on, you know, finance, on health, on, you know, how to, you know, what, everything that makes and takes to be the best and greatest dad you can be. You know, we're not here. This is not a show to bash women. We're not here to bash mothers. Actually, they say one of the best qualities is to lift, you know, your ex-spouse or your spouse up. You know, to show your children, you know, their mother's respect in one manner or another. So we're not here to bash on the mothers.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah,
Jay,
Steve.
It's a dad's perspective, but you can have a single mother on here because they have the dad's perspective also.
Look, maybe,
remember that.
Maybe I could talk my mom into coming in one day. I'm pretty sure she's gonna shoot me down.
You should give me some stories.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's gonna shoot me down, but maybe I can get a.
You know what I meant to say earlier too? So accept having to give something up, right? Mm-hmm. You know, because we all try to think we could take it, we could still take it with us and still, you know, fix stuff, right? So, like how you said, you was telling me, you was saying that I shared my story and everything, right? Yeah. Now, anybody listening, right? If I go to somewhere trying to talk to a woman and I tell her I jumped off the bridge, that ain't no panty dropper.
That's not a panty.
That's not a panty dropper. I might never get laid again. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give something up, man.
Oh man,
because I'm still having a beautiful life.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yo, if I ain't, man, long as
hey, you might have
that's
some show business in you for comedy. I'll tell you that right now. I've been studying comedy. And that, my brother, is comedic genius.
Yeah, that's some funny shit.
That's some comedic genius.
I just gotta remember them times I already did.
All right, well, that's Mark Gonsalves. I'm Jay Chattel. You got Steve Brady over there producing, directing.
How do you find this podcast? Let people know. How you find it?
We're
I'm trying to show him the ropes. Give him
what
it's
the hell
his
is
first
podcast?
day.
Because I don't know. Is it like a radio station? 98.7? How do you find something?
There's video that's connected to it. So a podcast, what a podcast is actually radio, right? This is radio. You keep people in tuned on.
Yeah, but radio has stations.
Radio has stations, right? So, but nowadays everything is going digital with apps and everything like that. So you can find us on all the podcast, you know, where you find all your podcasts at. But the good thing about podcasts, it allows you to put a camera in and you can catch some of the visuals. People are visual people nowadays. They want to see. So that's why we got the cameras in here right now. But I have I was in talks today.
Facebook.
Yeah, it'll be Facebook, the social networks and stuff like that. But I was talking with the makers of my brother's podcast, We Rise podcast, with Jared Tillinghast, Marvin Bonds and Todd Chattel.
No,
and they are it's called the Sports Fan Base Network, SFBN, right? So,
Yeah.
So there's this guy Ron that produces that. He has his own network. We're gonna sit down tomorrow with him and see what he has to offer. I like what he said so far. So he actually produces many podcasts, and the things that he's doing, he has a lot of energy. He has a good group of people that are on his team right now. He has a certified group, a bunch of group whatever. So we're sitting down tomorrow with him, and if not, if we can get it, on his network. If not,
Take some time.
we'll take some
work.
time. But it's out. We have our I got like 30,000 followers or something like that on social networks. I can put them on all the, it's just a click of away. You get them on all the social networks. So they're there. The people will be able to see it.
Well, I was just asking because
Yeah,
I'm on this motherfucker. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to find it myself.
You'll be able to find it.
And Jay will put it on Facebook at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, it's
that's
there.
what's up,
It's
He'll tag you.
And
You're the
know-
guest. He has to tag you.
And you know what's crazy, man? We're not sitting here talking about, remember that time we robbed that shit? Yo,
Nah.
it's this substance.
right.
Oh, I got a
Like
podcast.
there was it was easy to talk as long as we did today.
It
Like
seemed like 5 minutes for me.
I like you. Every time you would talk, I'd be like, "Damn, I want to say something else." You know what I'm saying? There's so much we
There's
can
so much
say, man.
Right. Well, that's why we get you
There's
to
so
come
much
back.
substance,
Will
man.
you come back?
Yeah, hell yeah.
We get you to come back.
Yo,
brother.
you live 17 minutes away from me. I thought it was further. You might be like, "Come on, Mark.
I live 2 miles
just got
away."
home for work." You know what I'm saying? Like,
We'll get you to come back, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, I want to be able to touch on everything that makes us the best dads we can be. Everything. You might end up meeting a woman, and she might end up having kids, and now you're in a different position, right? So, or finances. You want to teach your kids, new stuff that you're learning right now.
So every podcast is gonna, at some point, have a pivot with being a father.
Everything.
All right,
It's
all right.
strictly
So that's
on being the best
that's-
dad.
yeah.
Everything, any way possible, but that there's
So-
not a sport. I'll
so in
put the
10
sports.
years from now,
Still.
on a podcast, it's still gonna be that's
Because how can you run out of?
No, I hear you.
What is the best
No, I
title
know.
that you could own?
Yeah.
That you could have, that you can produce? What is the best title you can have as a human being right now? You right now. What are the things that what inspires you more right now?
What inspires me more?
Yeah, than being a dad. What inspires you more than being a dad right now?
Being a dad for someone else, helping someone else.
Would you trade being a dad for anything else right now?
Hell no.
So what? Why?
Man, I just got
I just
it.
told you we're
Yo,
mirroring each other here.
I'm acknowledging and admitting that I really just became a dad.
Yeah.
Like all their life when I was saying I was I wasn't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So why the hell would I give it up now, man? I
That's
just
what I'm telling
got
you,
it.
brother.
That's it.
And that's another reason I'm so fucking pissed about with my son, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What? You
woo, but-
keep here.
Yeah,
Stay
yeah,
here.
yeah.
You and I.
Hey,
talk.
you said, what'd you say? You went to a party, Jamal had casts on his legs before riding a dirt bike. You know what I'm saying? I cut myself with a skill saw and went to work that night DJing, and then went to an after party at the third floor.
Man,
Woo,
I
Jesus.
was a party animal. Like when after the accident, I was showing up in nightclubs in the wheelchairs, still thinking I was Superman. Like,
So now to keep that on your father, being a father, because we don't want to get off track. That could affect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. And me personally, I know there's 1,000 things I could have did better as, the dad I was. I made wrong decisions. I ended up in jail while I had children. My oldest daughter I was in medium security, the new medium, not old medium where you was at, but I was in new medium when my oldest daughter was born. I was there for 3. I was supposed to come home, and then she would have been born, and she was born. Then I came home 3 weeks later. She ended up being born a little earlier, and I ended up getting new charges out in Massachusetts for some felony stuff, man. So I had, I ended up having to sit in. I went from medium, gave all my stuff. You know how it is. You're going home, you give it away. I was going home, I gave it all away. walked out with nothing, went out to the, where they give you your clothes and everything back, and they brought me over to the intake and put me in the cell and intake, and I didn't even get to go home.
Hey,
Sat
so
there for 3 more weeks.
remember how I said like being able to help my daughter and all that, right?
Yeah.
I want to point out something that kind of is like that happened to you tonight. I don't even know if so. When me and you walked in the door tonight, right? We didn't even walk in far enough for me to shut the door behind me, and the first thing was your daughter upstairs yelling, "Daddy." That's the reward. No, for real, man.
Yeah.
That's the reward.
Well, that's what it's about, man. The kids.
Yo, man.
Even when they stress you out, it's about the kids.
But yeah, them
passing on the legacy, passing on, the
that's
morals, the values.
That's when you can say you're a father, because she's saying it. We can't say that we're a father. They're the ones that are able to prove that we're a father.
Come to the door when you
know
come
what I'm saying?
home, or
Yeah, man.
Did
you even realize that? Like, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's
because I missed that. Like, so I made decisions that I you know what I'm saying. So anybody listening, man, I'm telling you, you think the cars and all that. So when there's gonna be a time when that's just gonna be the most beautiful, and it's free.
Yeah,
free, bro. Daddy.
Listen, I want to end right there on that good note. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. This is a dad's perspective. I'm Jay Chattel. That's Steve Brady back there, and my newfound friend. He is not leaving my side. He's not leaving my friendship. Mark Gonsalves, Senior. Oh yes, that's an important thing. My brother Todd does that all the time.
Because I don't want my son to get jammed up for none of my. Because like I said, some of my old stuff's still coming back.
We're out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
Howdy.
Be blessed. That was a good one. What do you think? That was good.
God, man.
You know what we're doing? What?